As a crypto miner, you know you want your equipment to be high quality. Proper cable management is part of your mining rig, and the Veteran Miner has you covered. The Veteran Miner cables are created with the best materials to ensure they are of the highest quality. Our cables are made of 16 gauge tin copper, ensuring another layer of protection from oxidation and corrosion. We have different colored cables carefully crafted to suit your mining rig needs. Glued heat shrink is used to firmly secure the ends on sleeving and wires. We ensure our crimped pins are up to manufacturer specifications with our calibrated machinery. Our wires also have a non-looping design for not only a clean setup, but also for avoiding wire bending. Our cables are 100% made in the USA. The Veteran Miner is forward-thinking, always looking for new products to bring you. We support our products with a 100% guarantee. What are you waiting for? Visit our website at www.theveteranminer.com and get the best cables for your mining setup.
What is the value proposition of Bitcoin? If it fills all the four major categories under Aristotle's proposition for good money, what is value? It's the portability, divisibility, fungibility, and scarcity and desirability. It fulfills all those characteristics.
I would debate the scarcity, but it doesn't have any real money. Must be a commodity in and of itself before it's money. It must have actual use. No, it's not.
It is.
Okay, so you tell me what can you do with your Bitcoins right now?
Sound.
What?
I have a Bitcoin debit card. I can go anywhere in the world and buy
spending
stuff.
It.
That's right.
What can you do?
But Peter, I believe
I can secure immutably for all time in history data. On a blockchain, the Bitcoin is the biggest blockchain in the world.
You don't need
Every 10 minutes, it's
that.
totally verified. Yes, you do.
You can,
because otherwise, you have the ability of others to come in and change that database. Databases, you can have any database product can come along and secure data, but it's not immutable and it's not stored.
No, it has to have
secure because of the technology of proof of work.
It has to have an actual
every 10
use.
minutes.
Apart from its
securing data is useful. Securing
what data are you securing?
Any data that you would
want.
What
data are you securing?
Financial data, mortgage data.
But on your personal data, if I have one
my
Bitcoin,
birth certificate, my personal data, my verification of who I am. So I don't need Equifax to sell my data and lose my data and fuck my data. I can have my data on a private key and say this is me. It's immutable. It's every 10 minutes. It's verified. And that's who I am. Give me my fucking money.
You don't need Bitcoin either.
Yes, you do, because it's the most secure. It's the only secure database that's ever been invented. That's the technology. You fail to understand that it's a new technology that is as profound as the printing press or the electric light bulb. You're comparing it to things that you shouldn't be comparing it to. It makes no sense. You're talking nonsense.
Yeah, this is... Look,
it's a brand new breakthrough in technology. Your kids are going to be wondering why their dad didn't see the value. They'll be like, Dad must have been on drugs because he never saw the value.
This is a cult of Bitcoin. This is your guru. This is the type of reaction that you're going to get. I mean, you might as well be Sung Young Moon or something, or just don't drink any.
Let me help you help yourself.
It's me. I'm the one out here putting the work in behind the scenes, trying to save crypto, while these devils, Sam Bankman-Fried, Brian Armstrong, they are trying to permanently ruin it. This is not about money for me. I hope you guys understand this. I'm here fighting for you. It's me. This guy with these freaking glasses on, this douchebag, is out here trying to tell you that only the suits know what to do. Only the suits. Only the people who have all the money. They're the ones who can determine what happens. No, our bill is for the people. And you're going to find this out. I don't represent the people. The fuck I don't. The fuck I don't. I'm the one out here putting the work in behind the scenes, trying to save crypto, while these devils, they're trying to permanently ruin it.
Lil Bubble, let me ride that rocket.
Good evening, incels, infidels, and Chris Bagnall. Welcome to another end of year live stream, end of year in review. We have a couple guests that will be on with us shortly. A few that aren't joining us, but I think we have some backups coming in as well. So, Pleasure to be here with all of you. Thanks for joining the stream. I can't talk tonight. Chris, how you doing?
Man, last time we did an end of year review, we were giving away helium. How far we've come.
Oh, we're going to talk about that plenty tonight.
Listen, I'm doing great. I got my Kentucky Mule. It's almost the last day of the year. We got 12 people watching right now. This is going to be a really good stream, and I think we're going to get canceled very hard for this stream.
New England Crypto writes, Haircut Joe, my daughter says he looks smooth. Well, thank you.
You love the toy bands.
Man, this live stream is already a disaster. It's been the least of all of them.
What do you mean?
I'm just screwing up production left and right.
Oh,
but anyways, we're gonna do a roll call. I think we're gonna pump some beats in here. Okay.
Of course.
We're gonna play some girly.
Want me to
music.
handle the beats? You want me to handle the beats? All right, you already got it. Oh, great. Someone's already called in.
I sent him the link, but we're gonna do a quick roll call and then we'll bring in the guests. John, thanks for your comments earlier. Automatic Beats, thanks for being here. Crypto Bedell, thanks for being here. All Set Miner, Max Voltage, Thoth, Ursa Prime, 619 OTA. Thanks for being here. Paradigm Miner, Void Walking. I think we will have Void on later tonight. We're going to have Stevie's IT in as well. We're waiting for him to get on. And possibly Lloyd Christmas. And we'll see what other YouTubers call in. I know a lot of people are busy tonight, but we have awards to get to across the crypto spectrum.
Quite.
And then,
yes.
Oh yeah, we're going to talk about halvings that are coming in 2023. We'll also talk about the different projects in depth. Yes. We're going to talk about helium. We're going to talk about the ETH merge. We'll talk about Celsius, FTX, and Sam Bankman-Fried, Terra Luna.
Sam Bankman fraud.
Scam, bankrupt fraud. And of course,
I think
we're
I'm
going to take your
lagging
calls
hard.
later in the show. Whatever subject you please. We're going to bring Jules in. Jules, thanks for being here with us tonight.
Hey, Jay.
I got my ears lowered. Yeah, it's a rough audience tonight, too. We're off to a good start.
You're almost there, mate. Just keep going.
That reminds me of the comment you guys got. What do they put in the water in Australia? They're all bald.
Yeah.
All right, Chris, you want to pull up the crypto awards of the year?
Crypto awards.
Chris,
listen, guys, I spent a lot of time working on this. You guys are going to greatly enjoy. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the crypto. I'm Chris, and I'm with my co-host Network Bits, and we're going to go through the topics that we have, the awards that are up for taking today. Our awards. And before we get started, we'd like to say that our award ceremony is sponsored by FTX. Joe, if you could stop the music for a quick second, I'm going to play our ad here.
Of course. I'm going to get a copyright infringement for this.
Can you hear it?
I can't hear it.
You can't hear it.
No. All right, skip it. Screw them.
Hold on. No, we have to make this work. Let me just... Give me 1 second. Technical difficulties. This is I spent a lot of time. Maybe if I share my screen. Oh, hold on. I just figured out what it is. Share system audio. Got it. Ready? You can hear it?
Turn it up.
Nothing.
Can't hear it, dude. I can barely hear it. Turn up the system audio.
What?
Turn up the system audio.
It's maxed out.
Can I be honest with you? It stinks. Does your wife know what's going on here? She knows I go to work. You're wasting your time, and it's sad. You might as well put the dishes in the shower. Hey, Catherine, what's cooking? We're putting a man on the moon. Are you out of your mind? I can't even get tuna without celery. Nobody's going to the moon, ever. Why not? It's too far. It's far. It's really far. It's far. 我々の未来はポータブルミュージックです。バカか、バカか、わかるだろう、わかるだろう、わかるだろう。出ていけ。未来言うのか。怖いんだ。バカに会議とかやるぞ。バカにどこ。バカしい。Like I was saying, it's FTX. It's a safe and easy way to get crypto. I don't think so. And I'm never wrong about this stuff. Never. Franklin! Hey, I left my cane in there. What? Wait a minute! Hey! That's an expensive cane!
All right, everyone. Oh, let's skip here. All right. So, hope you guys enjoy our sponsor. Please give them a look if you guys have not heard of them before. Pretty interesting project, Exchange. So now we're going to go through the awards that we are giving out today.
You love that company.
Of course. Now we're going to go through the awards that we're giving out today. First up on the block is most centralized blockchain. We also have that's so loud. I gotta turn down.
Sorry,
I forgot I have.
This
have my
is the worst production yet.
We have least amount of development. We have best NFT project of the year, worst blockchain, best upcoming blockchain, best upcoming crypto project, worst IoT project, most overrated IoT project, biggest rug pull, biggest crypto scam, and Joe's favorite. All right. So
Truck of the year.
Let's begin, ladies and gentlemen. Let me turn down this. This is, I can't tell if this is like too loud for me. I don't know what's going on. Let's begin. All right. So up first is our most centralized blockchain. Our nominations. Ethereum. You guys all know what Ethereum is. It's a layer 1 solution. We have Solana, the blockchain with the worst uptime ever, with the most support. And actually, Vitalik just tweeted today that, or there was a post that just came out that he hopes that Solana gets the sunshine that it deserves because he thinks it's a great project. And Helium. And the winner is Ethereum. It's the most centralized blockchain. Over 70% of their nodes are hosted on centralized services such as AWS and Microsoft Azure. Least amount of development. This goes out to the blockchain that had, or the crypto project that had a lot of potential, and they didn't do anything or little to nothing this year. And our nominations. Electroneum. A lot of you guys have not even heard of Electroneum because they haven't done things in about 4 years. Pi Network, which was founded by some people at Stanford, I believe, and Zcash, which also hasn't done anything in a while. And the winner is Pi Network. The least amount of development.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything from them.
No,
they were
they
big.
completed their hackathon about 3 years ago, or no, 2 years ago, and nothing ever came of it. And
Yes.
every noob to crypto, every person who is just getting in thinks it's the greatest thing because you can mine on your phone, but all you do is click a button to earn and watch an ad. It's the crock. No one's developing on it. With the limitless potential you have on your phone, they can't manage to do anything. Next project, please.
Our next tier task. Our next award is Best NFT Project of the Year. Now, Joe requested this one personally. Joe, let's take it away.
I nominated it. I made a case for it, and our board took review.
Would you like to take this one?
Sure. And the winner goes to the 45th President of the United States, Donald John Trump, with over 4.46 million worth of NFTs sold in less than a day.
Look at that NFT. Don't you guys just want to own one?
For someone who doesn't believe in crypto, he sure likes his NFTs.
Let me say, let's go back real quick. It was actually difficult to find successful crypto projects in 2022. Bored Ape and CryptoPunks were like 2017 and 2021. So, I mean, good on him. Good on him. And next we have the worst blockchain. This is the blockchain that it sucks. It really underperforms. And our nominations are Ethereum, Solana, and Helium. You guys can take your guesses. Give you guys a moment. And the winner is... Oh, I didn't press the button. And the winner is Solana. They have more downtime than uptime. That's just a little joke I put there. But Solana, quite honestly, has been a very awful chain. They've had a lot of downtime. They're very centralized. They've paused the blockchain. Yeah, and that's why Helium couldn't have won this yet, because they're not on the Solana blockchain. Once they move to Solana, then they could also win an award, because they'll have Solana's downtime as well as Helium's downtime. I remember Helium was down for like a week, but Solana can pause their blockchain at any time they want, which is just awful. The best upcoming blockchain. This goes out to the blockchain that we think is going to perform well in 2023 and beyond. And the nominations are Kadena, Flux, and Bitcoin. I don't know if you guys have heard of this one. It's relatively new.
I don't know why on earth you insisted on putting Bitcoin in there, but go ahead.
I don't know what third project to put in there. Like, we have two contenders and then Bitcoin. Anyway, the winner is Kadena. Joe requested this one. He thinks Kadena, and I think Kadena too, is a blockchain that has very large scalability, and they have great potential.
A lot of features.
Exactly, and I feel like they just weren't discovered as much during the crypto run that we had. Most people focused their attention on shit coins like Dogecoin and Shiba Inu. So hopefully Kadena.
Definitely agree.
Yeah. Best upcoming crypto project. This is different than a blockchain. This can be a project with a blockchain, but it's the entire thing. All of the project together. Our nominations. Oh, would you look at that? It's the same as last time. We got Kadena, Flux, and Bitcoin. I wonder who it could be, guys. Is it going to be Bitcoin? Is it going to be Flux? I don't know. And the winner is Flux. So we took a look at Flux. We took a look at all of the things that they're actually capable of doing. They have their nodes, they're mineable, and they have their Zelcore wallet. On top of that, their storage network, their decentralized storage network, is like nothing we've seen before because it's widely supported. The only thing you can kind of compare it to, I guess, would be like IPFS and stuff like that. But this is all decentralized. It's owned by the people. You ever heard that before? You ever heard the People's Network or anything like that? Anyway, Flux is actually doing that, so it's pretty cool. Now we have the worst IoT project. I'm sure a lot of you guys have been looking forward to this one because pretty much me and Joe's channels are only IoT. We tried to dabble into other areas, but yeah. And the nominations are Helium, RebelFi, and MatchX. Now this is a really tough choice for us because all three of them suck. They really sucked this year. But the winner is, for this one, RebelFi. And the reason we picked RebelFi is because the reason we picked RebelFi is because they actually didn't get devices out, like, at all. MatchX and Helium at least got devices out, and a lot of people made some decent crypto on Helium. RebelFi sucked. They sucked. All right, everyone picked RebelFi in the comments. That's hilarious. most overrated IoT project. This goes out to the project that got way too much attention and severely underperformed. So, our nominations.
I want to present this one. I want to know what the audience thinks it's going to be. Will it be Helium, MXC, or RevelFi?
The Winged Crypto says he's never heard of RevelFi. Man, you are lucky. It's a revolutionary project. We can talk on the side, and I'll show you the RevelFi
right, next
ecosystem.
slide.
And the winner is
goes to MatchX MXC. Yeah,
You changed
I changed it.
You
Kind of have
changed
to have. Look, the reason I changed it is because RevelFi, everyone knows their shit. So how can they be overrated? MaxX is complete garbage. It sells for $3,000. It's not even worth $250. Their network sucks. I don't know what you spend the token on. It's a utility token. What utility does it have? It could supposedly, it doesn't mine shit, but they'll tell you it mines 4 coins. 2 years later, we're still waiting for this Polkadot mining. It doesn't mine Bitcoin. Half the Bitcoin that you supposedly mine with it for these microtransactions end up getting just another transaction fee to transfer it to your wallet, which ends up being almost a half of your revenue. MXC, DHX, 2 shit coins that have no purpose. Need I say more? It's the worst fucking project out there, and I hope they get sued to high heaven.
Originally the answer was Helium, but I guess Joe had some opinions he wanted to get off of his chest.
I thought you put RevelFi.
No, I did not put RevelFi.
Dolph asked in the comments, Joe, are you still mining planets? No, I never mined planets.
That's so funny. All right, let's move on. Biggest rug pull. This goes out to I believe this is the NFT projects that are let's just see here. Yes, this goes out to the NFT projects that rugged. So Evolved Apes, CryptoSys, and CryptoZoo. CryptoSys is owned by
Lana Rhodes.
Sorry for your name. Lana Rhodes. Of course you know that. Thanks, Joe. And CryptoZoo, which is owned by Logan Paul, and Evolved Apes, which was, a tag along to the ape NFTs. What do you guys think the winner's going to be?
You might be able to call this one a rug munch.
I think so. I think a lot of people will be able to guess this one just based off some recent videos. And the winner is CryptoZoo. Logan Paul, if you're watching the stream, you can collect your award.
Oh, I thought it'd be Lana Rhodes. What the fuck?
CryptoZoo. Oh, well, you changed the Helium one.
No, I didn't change it. Whatever. Go ahead. It's like a disaster.
We forgot to make one for the next to be on a CoffeeZilla video, but oh well, not the end of the world. Now we're up for the biggest crypto scam. This is anything in the crypto space that seemed to be legitimate and turned out to just defraud and bankrupt
the average
people
consumer
and cause the crypto market to crash. Anything like that. And there's thousands of them. There's thousands to choose from, so we had to be careful with what we picked. And our nominations are Terra Luna, which was early 22, that absolutely destroyed the market. Celsius, which was mid 22, which destroyed the market. And the most recent one, FTX and Sam Bankman Fraud, which destroyed the market. And if you guys know where we're going with this,
copy close.
Sam Bankman Fraud. If you're seeing this, you can collect your slideshow PNG. We can send it to your FTX NFT account when you are ready. Thank you, Sam. Congratulations. Joe, would you like to announce this one?
Yes. This award goes to the Cuck Master who screwed millions, whether they be miners, the blockchain itself, people staking. You could probably guess who this is, but let's go for the nominations. Anyone want to guess?
We have SBF, Vitalik Buterin and Bill Gates. Amir Halim.
Someone wrote Amir Halim in the chat.
I was thinking about making one where I have the nominees and then the winner is just not one of the nominees.
God, you guys are brutal tonight. All right.
All right. And the
Next
winner
slide.
is
Vitalik Buterin. Yay!
you single-handedly.
He was nominated is because for several reasons. Once, to begin with, he screwed the entirety of the GPU mining market when ETH went to proof of stake, but those who staked ETH and validators still have all their ETH locked up, and the Ethereum team has to scramble to figure out a solution to this problem they caused. Now, he's potentially screwed the security of Ethereum with this move to proof of stake. We'll see how that plays out in 2023. But Vitalik is not done yet. He has his eyes set on cucking Dogecoin into proof of stake. Hey, take your ESG and shove it. And that is all.
Do you want to talk
right.
about the crypto halvings now or later?
We'll do them now.
All right.
But we want to hear your thoughts in the comments. Anything we might have missed here.
Yeah, if there's any other awards you think we should have given out, I can quickly make them and we can start giving out some more awards. One that I forgot to do was most likely end up on a CoffeeZilla video in 2023, which would have been a great one because we could have lightly fudded on some projects, which would get us some views because people hate when you fud on their projects. It's hilarious.
This is a crazy audience tonight, and I love it.
So I should invest in Doge yet. Best haircut of the year. Joe didn't tell me he got a haircut. I couldn't have picked it.
All right,
Wait,
Crypto Halvings 2023.
all right.
This
So
is harder to research than you think. I had to go down the list of blockchains, and I'm not completely done, but we've come up with 4 major ones thus far.
Well,
I'm not. Go ahead.
I found it all from NiceHash. NiceHash shows all the mineable tokens. So this is what we got
But they didn't even show a couple of the ones that we found here.
Yeah.
So go ahead. Next one. We got Flux coming in February of 2023. Handshake, April of 2023. Litecoin of July or August of 2023's estimated date. And then your favorite, Helium, in September of 2023.
Now, the only difference with Helium this time is everyone has their miners, so we'll be able to get some before it halves. Unfortunately, you make absolutely nothing, so just something to consider. I'm looking forward to these halvings because it is historically accurate, not even financial advice to say this, that after halvings, prices of coins tend to go up, which is great for the community because it increases the scarcity of the coin and how many are distributed. So it's great stuff. Looking to see what happens. Steve said, seems chilly there, you should put on a fire. Steve, I had the fire on when the stream first started and my bandwidth was struggling, so I had to turn it off, just like last time, just like the good old days. So that's all we got for the awards. That is all we got.
Excellent. Now we're going to paste in the link. If you guys would like to call in tonight, I'll leave that in both channels. We'll take some callers. Now, we're going to start off with the Helium discussion, of course, because that's what we've covered on our channels the most.
There we go.
Come on, you act like you didn't know this was coming.
No, I know.
I'll let Jules take it away because I know this is what he's joined for. I was hoping Leo would come on.
Yeah, Leo's been quiet lately, surprisingly enough. Look, not much to report. We're still waiting on this magic fix, which is supposed to be a few days away by the sounds of things, but we'll wait and see if that just disappears. Yeah, I noticed Crystal King's been very quiet as well with the whole Australian thing, but yeah, we'll wait and see. Yeah, look, Australia's in the same spot it was 2 months ago almost. I think you might consider a biggest shot in the foot category for Helium for totally destroying a user base in Australia and New Zealand.
Oh, yeah. I can't believe that they would be that negligent in the rollout.
No, and the
I
communications.
don't understand how any company can operate like this. I mean, the documentation shit, when you ask about it, they say, oh, you got to do a PR. Who's going to use a network where you don't have actual documentation? You don't have solid dates. I've been complaining about this since day one, and it's always been the same. It's always been the same response. Well, it's an open source network. Do a PR. Well, number one, the documentation on the website doesn't have anything to do with the GitHub. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm almost certain that's the case. Regardless, do you think they're going to give me access to the GitHub? Do you think they're going to let me go in there and make edits? I know I have to request and pull the PR and push it. Okay, but let's be real here. It seems like most of the PRs always fall on deaf ears. It's a lot of people who are, how would you say it? Grasping onto the little power that they have in their clubhouse and holding it tight to their chest. They don't want to allow anyone else to gain a foothold because they might lose the little bits of power that they have. A lot of tiny tyrants, I would say. Look, there's some good people in there, certainly.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the rotten apples, I mean, they really stick out. They really sour it for everyone.
I mean, the whole People's Network went out the door with this whole dual band process. From trying to ram it through with Hit 45, then giving us all the promises they wanted to give us, and then going ahead and just changing the rules. I mean, it's a fully centralized organization. There's no two ways about it.
Well, the biggest problem started, I mean, if you want to talk more technical, was with the secret denial list. That's when everyone realized that there was no decentralization whatsoever. Now, you guys got to understand that with these tip-ins or deep-ins or whatever the hell you want to call them, token incentivized public infrastructure network, it's not going to be like Bitcoin. It's not ever going to be like, okay, here's the core infrastructure of it that we can leave alone and throw away the keys, or at least keep them with a few select people, because that always has to be updated when it comes to tech. Now, in that manner, there's always going to be business decisions made. That's just the name of the game. They're not going to leave it up to a potential mob vote, and even if they were to do so, you know that they have the big bags, the whales, waiting in the background for a vote to swing the wrong way and come in and save them last minute. It's going to be a last hour vote, and no one's going to see that coming. That could potentially be a problem in the future for them if it swings the other way. But you have to understand that these helium improvement proposals, they're always set up in a manner that they know what the outcome is going to be when it comes to the majority voting. Just about. I think they got the game down pretty well in the way they word it, and they know how people are going to vote yes the majority of the time. So back to what the secret denial list. Regardless of whether the greater community understands what decentralization truly is or not, that is the core concept of everything crypto. And when you've lost that illusion of anything ever being decentralized, you're done for. The faith in the network was shaken. The confidence in the network and the leadership was shaken. Now, I remember the excuses that we were given for the secret denial list. They never sat right with me. The excuses were because people would figure out how they were blocking them from the denial list.
I have some positive news, Joe.
What's that?
About 6 months ago, or actually last February, March, so it's longer than that, but I made a video about some hotspots that were clearly spoofing the location because they were in a perfect grid in airports, and it was like right in New Jersey. Trenton area. So I went out and I explored them. I looked at them. I tried to find them, like driving to the locations where they were claiming to be. And you're allowed to spoof the hotspot like just a little bit, so it's not directly on your house. I understand that, but it was in the middle of an airport, and there's no houses around there. I thought it was funny. I drove out there to check it out, and all the hotspots were earning a ridiculous amount. I just checked again the other day, and they're all on the deny list. So Helium did do some good. Now, it's still messed up what they did with the deny list, that it was a secret until someone found it, and then they still denied it until a whole bunch of people found out about it, and then they're like, oh, no, it's actually been real the whole time.
We're going to bring in another person who has also been banished from the Helium Discord, who probably has a few things to say about this secret deny list, as he was one of the initial people to bring it up. Steve, welcome to the stream. Thanks for being here, buddy.
How are we today?
Hey, Steve.
Great.
Happy holidays, happy new year, all that good stuff.
What camera are you using, Steve? That is so clear.
This is a C920 Logitech, but you have to do some refinements, Chris. You can't just use things as they come out of the box. I know you're like one of those types that just, throw it up there, set it in a windowsill, and
That's what I'm using
ammo?
Too.
Some things require
Hey, Leo, by the way, I sent Leo an invite if he'd like to join and get in on this. What are you doing, Chris?
Because here it is in the middle of the winter.
Started, Steve.
Sorry, buddy. I'm a little upset because here we are in the middle of winter and Chris doesn't have his fireplace on. So look at Chris trying to adjust his light. Chris, you'll never get this, buddy. This is chiseled from granite. Chiseled.
Damn. Yeah, I had my fireplace on earlier, but I was lagging hard, so I turned it off.
Hey, I've got a great idea for a stream, and it kind of follows in line with Chris's skills with all of that award montage we just were forced to sit through. Why don't we do an entire stream where Chris shows us all his spears and talks about those? That sounds
Did you
exciting.
miss the coin stream?
I have 3.
Let's see your spears, Chris.
I can't readily.
Were you there for the coins?
Which coin?
For Chris to show his coin collection.
No, I missed it.
Yeah, you missed a lot. Jules was here for it.
Don't worry.
I'll have to go back and watch it.
I'm still recovering.
It's
Are we talking about like challenge coins, Joe, like you and I might have? Or are you talking about
nothing
currency?
Currency.
We're talking about a coin collection in the.
Oh my god, that was loud. Jesus.
All right, so back on topic. Steve, Jules, do you have anything to add here?
Mate, we're just waiting out here in Australia to see what comes of this new fix and see if they actually do it or not.
I just keep going back and looking at, what are the criticisms from a year ago? What are the criticisms from 2 years ago? What are the criticisms from before Helium even put out their first unit 3 years ago themselves? And the criticisms are still there. They're still valid. Now the network is split. It's off its own chain. It's in the hands of corporate funding. I mean, and there's still no revenue. Still no revenue.
The biggest problem with Helium is that they won't admit their screw-ups, so they'll never learn from them.
Yep.
Well, they already made their money, so what's the point?
And they're stuck in the same workflow that they have been the entirety of the time. I mean, I would call it a perfect shitstorm in 2021. And I'll be making a video about this, about everything that affected the price, and we can talk more about, what caused some of the outrage and the mania around it. But there's a lot of things to be learned from this project. And unfortunately, I don't think all the other projects are taking note necessarily.
I think there's some that are.
Potential. Go ahead.
I think there's some that are. That Things IX is looking pretty promising.
Things IX, yes.
Helium's given them the perfect launch platform here anyway.
And we're going to see people converting. One of the things Helium fails to grasp is that some people might be locked in the hotspot because these other vendors, they don't want to support it. But these are crypto miners. They go where they feel that they can turn a profit or speculate on a coin. They're not they're not loyal to Helium. They don't care. They feel betrayed, to be frank. And this halving that comes every 2 years, I mean, there is going to be outrage in the Discord come August. I mean, those mods are going to be badgered to no end.
I mean, we saw what happened last time with the halving. People were furious because we were promised devices at a certain month, like a month before the halving, a month before consensus ended, and ended up being delayed probably 4 months past that at the minimum for most people that ordered. And they were just like, we're sorry, kind of like the BP oil spill. They just said, we're sorry everybody, but they didn't do anything. People were expecting we should be given rewards for the months we missed and all this stuff, and we were promised this and that, but it's going to be the same thing over again. The only difference is there's no consensus this time, and earnings are down, so they might be a little less mad. I think they're more furious in general because earnings are down because nobody's hotspots are working. The entire continent and country of Australia they don't even care about, which is
kind of seized almost entirely there.
Yeah, it's messed up. It's really messed up stuff, and it seems like they're oh well.
And also one thing that kind of caught me off guard because I don't check the Helium Explorer very often, but I mean at one time we were 900,000 or so, 800 something thousand with 92% or 89% online. If you check these days, it is about half of them online. So all this talk about building out 1 million hotspot network, I mean, it's not true. It's simply not true. And I think going back to the point that you were talking about too, that was one of my biggest criticisms always with Helium is that they were so blind to consumer-facing optics, right? Great. We're gonna license all these entities to go ahead and manufacture the devices and handle all this stuff, and they're just gonna give us money, but we're gonna be totally hands off with any sort of issue that may come up with manufacturing. Oh, okay, let's build a manufacturing oversight committee. Oh, what do you mean these aren't getting built right? Well, you need to build a HIP if you want to change this process, or if you want to have some sort of refund. Or
you brought up such a good point that leads me into we knew the impending bankruptcy of Syncrobit.
Oh yeah,
and possibly other companies, and other companies getting put on the denial list indefinitely. So those hotspots would no longer be supported. Within the past year of us knowing of this, that this would inevitably happen, did they come up with a continuity plan to take over and support those hotspots? No, not now. They're scrambling to do so, to pick up the slack of Syncrobit, who is no longer supporting upgrades on their hotspots.
Yeah, and honestly, they had chances.
Unbelievable to me.
Well, they had chances too. They banned 2 or 3 device manufacturers during that time, and so they had chances to figure out, hey, here's a perfect sandbox opportunity. I've got a banned manufacturer. How can I still intake their units that customers might have already received and not onboarded, yada yada. And they looked the other way. And now here we are, 6 months into mobile? What have you got to show for it? I know people with millions of mobile tokens and nothing they could do with it.
Some people watching the stream right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
And I received a rash of shit over what I said about HIP 51. Oh, HIP 55 too. HIP 50. We'll get to HIP 55 first because that was the one they first took a vote on when it came to validators, right? So that was validators taking over the challenge mechanism. Now, one of my main concerns was that validators were already underperforming, right? And when you have the entirety of a network where you're talking about CDN, decentralized VPN, rolling out, other possible aspects to it, why not just create create another device to host specifically challenges? Why do they have to go to the validators? And in hindsight, now I know what the answer was, is because it wasn't profitable to host a validator. The returns on it were garbage. But validators were still underperforming nonetheless. So how would moving more services to validators, how would it help it? necessarily help the network. I guess I get the architecture. In a sense, it does. It is logical, but you're completely pulling that opportunity out from people who bought in when that's like some of the only revenue that their hotspot is making is creating those challenges and just saying, hey, too bad. If you're in a bad location, you get nothing, not even the scraps. And they didn't understand how bad that sat with those customers.
Yeah.
So
and
now-
again, it comes from those fundamental core issues that the Helium, whoever I'm just going to say Helium from now on, that they had. They never went back. Like, why did we move to validators? Well, because they never went back and looked at previous patches on hotspots and on the blockchain, figured out where the hell things were getting choked up at, and fixed that. They never did that from then on. So they're like, well, we just need more horsepower. That's all it is. Let's toss more horsepower. Let's, isolate some of this a little bit better. And then, that didn't work out. They never went every time after I think I only saw actual one published post-mortem, and that was that big outage in November of last year, if anybody remembers that. I think that was the only published post-mortem that I remember seeing.
They were down for like a week.
It just seems like ripping off Band-Aids without ever letting the infection heal. What are you going to do? It's eventually you're going to get gangrene.
Well, there's your activations per day for gateways. I mean, I know it's a bear market, but that's still, that's never going to return to the highs it was. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I want to say, since Steve, you mentioned that like almost half the hotspots are offline right now. Why are earnings so low when there's such an abundance of HNT? It hasn't changed. There hasn't been a halving since the bull run. It's not until 2023. Where are these earnings going? It's not.
The honest answer is it was adjusted previously and never changed. I don't know if you remember, we used to be the witness list mechanism used to be like first to receive, first to respond. Then they did a queue system. Then they did an RNG pick off that queue system. Then they went from 25 to 7, only could be on the witness list. And so they keep adjusting these rewards without ever letting anything make up and catch up. And I think right now what we're seeing is the fact that if you go back and look at pre-light hotspot rollout, the proof of coverage activity we had to now, we're still at 1/6 of that POC rate from before. So honestly, I think that they're not lying when they say the network is operating efficiently as far as the rewards mechanism is going, because that's what it's tuned down to do. It's that we're at the lowest common denominator right now, which is just enough needed to keep the network floating and functional, and those rewards going and enough beacons being sent out and all that other stuff. But you remember in the heyday, I mean, we used to have 3-4 beacons an hour easily, maybe even more if I remember.
It was amazing.
There used to be and again, here's the thing that happens when they neutered the project, when they started making these artificial variables on the rewards, people stopped caring about their setups. Why should I invest $60 in the LMR 400 cable run if the RG58 is going to be just as fine and I'm going to beacon and receive the same amount? Why should I, put it on a 20-foot pole on top of my roof when I could just stick it on the fence post outside? It's going to be the same in the long run. And they kind of killed creativity. They killed adaptability with the network when they did that. And they honestly just killed people wanting to be a part of it. People like to optimize, especially people that are involved in tech projects. Tech projects or techie people, we like to get our hands on. We like min-max stuff, and they removed all of it. They completely neutered that ability from the project.
Yep.
So
no, it was a shame. It was great in the beginning days, but like they understood how easily it was to cheat the system, and they still continued to roll it out to the public.
Yeah.
And hey, I don't know. I do believe that team couldn't organize a one-car funeral, but they might just be competent enough to see the writing on the wall. And I said the perfect storm, right? So real quick, we'll go over what happened during that price pump. But we had the Bitcoin halving months before, which all coins follow Bitcoin, right? They trend similar, but you have other denominators there that also cause that massive spike in price. So one of them is the helium equilibrium or flywheel, some may call it, but data credits spent based on asserting hotspots which gave it an artificial pump. That DC being spent, there's. I've never been able to find the formula exactly, but so much DC burned means the price pumps based on what the Oracle decides. So there is a formula to that. There is also there was speculation on 5G. Certainly, I'm looking at my whiteboard here, but so there's a lot of interest around that. But the central exchange listing also gave them a massive pump in price. You also had validators come online. I believe it was between the April-May timeframe and beyond, which locked up tons of liquidity. So that was creating upward pressure on the exchanges as well. You had the halving in August. So with all of that, it's kind of hard not to have that perfect storm to create that massive moonshot. So will we see the all-time high again? It's very hard to say. Might be possible. I'd give it 50-50. I'm not sure we will.
I think it's being generous.
Yeah.
I'd give it a 0.5% chance at best. Yeah, I mean, what was the high? 56, 60 bucks, something like that? Is it
56?
Yeah.
66?
20,
I mean,
30.
what was the market cap at that time? Does anybody remember? I guess we can look, huh?
Yeah. And it turns out that the whole Dish partnership was a lot of speculation too, right?
Dish, Salesforce, Lime.
Yeah.
I mean, all the things we now know to be not true this entire year.
I mean, they can probably turn it around, but it's going to take some massive changes at the top levels, and someone to really step up and admit the failings of the past and really start to learn lessons from what's happened in the past.
They need.
I think they're probably past the point of being able to turn it around as far as from a customer standpoint. What may happen is we may see finally this proof of concept starts working and customers want to transmit their, big customers want to transmit their data over this network and use these sensors and all that stuff. And then if that money flows in, we might get some some regular, mom and pop type people back interest in the project. But for now, I don't know. How do you sell this project today to somebody that isn't a millionaire looking to waste money or something? I don't even know. How do you sell the project?
That's it. That's exactly it. And someone brought up an opportunity to me just recently, and my response was like, I can't put my name to a project like this.
Yeah.
I just can't do it. And no big business is going to go in and invest in it, knowing that tomorrow they can go change the frequency plans and screw us over and not want to fix it and leave it like that for months on end.
It's definitely.
It's just not going to happen.
I don't understand how you can put that up for a vote the way they did. Hit 45, do all that discussion about it, waste people's time and energy for months, and then just ram it through without much notice whatsoever. I mean, in that call, it said, we sent you an email. Thanks for the email. Why weren't all the vendors, all the approved vendors on board with that? What's up with that?
Well, HIT 45 wasn't even voted on. They just passed it because there was no challenge because the previous minutes had all got mysteriously lost. Fortunately, at that time, the CEO stepped up and said, enough's enough. We're putting that into this. Gave us all the promises, but then, you know what happened after that. So, look, the powers that be, whoever's pulling the strings in the background, just seem to get their way regardless. No matter
A16Z.
Sorry?
A16Z, the investment firm that's behind it all in the long run.
Yeah. And then I'm really skeptical about a lot of these different companies that are now using crypto projects that are now using the network, Demo and Hivemapper, and of course, who's one of their main angel investors.
Yep.
It's
I have a couple Demo devices, as you know. I think we've talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
I just started mapping with my Hivemapper. I'm interested to know what's the purpose of it using.
Well, Steve. Sorry, Joe.
Go ahead.
Steve, we briefly talked about the issue you had with Demo, and people were like, what? There was an issue with Demo? So,
Oh,
do you want to go into that?
yeah. So I have a 2022 vehicle, and it has its own, the manufacturer, the vendor has its own app and all that stuff, and you can control it and do all sorts of stuff from the car. It's not like self-driving or anything. It's a gas-powered car, but you can start the car and unlock stuff and just, typical stuff that you would do with a key fob normally. Well, I noticed after probably about 2 weeks of installing the Demo device that thing just stopped registering any sort of metrics, anything at all. It still had like old mileage showing, and Demo was actually picking up the old metrics from the ODB2 port too. So it was weird. It was like something was kind of cached in the computer on the car itself. So I called up the dealership, tried to figure out what was going on, and at first they were telling me that it's a specific chip on the vehicle, and they would have to replace the chip itself. I'd have to pay for it, which is something like $800. They'd have to resync a new account for me to use this particular app again, and all this other stuff. And so that was quite alarming. That was quite an upset. And the most upsetting thing to me wasn't that it had an issue, because I'm plugging in new tech into my vehicle, right? It's a chance I take. I accept that full. But the most insulting thing to me was when I brought it up with the actual development team at Demo. The literal response, a sentence I got back was, "Oh, it's happening to Mazdas too." And I'm like, we knew, it's happening to Mazdas too. We knew Subaru and Mercedes, and I'm like, oh man, so it was just unnecessary thing that happened. It took about 6 weeks to finally work out between the dealership and Mazda corporate and Demo, but it finally got worked out. So, and it ended up, I guess, just being some sort of safety feature that's built into newer vehicles, where they won't offload data if something like that's been plugged into their ODB2 port that isn't like an officially registered handset or code reader or whatever it may be. So that's going to be something that they're going to have to deal with. And then the setup process is quite possibly the most convoluted that I can remember in crypto, dating back to even like CPU mining for Bitcoin. I mean, it is like the amount of different things that are interwoven into it between MetaMask on your app and the Demo app itself, and something else that asks for your permission. I don't know. It's not seamless at all. And to me, that worries me, because, Joe, as a network guy, the more systems you bring in, the more chance of things going haywire. And so it was quite. I had devices that worked fine for 5-6 months. I had them, and then they switched to this new process, and then I had to send them back for RMA because they just quit working. So there's definitely going to be a lot of headaches with Demo. Yeah. But that was my experience. The team has been nice. The team has been great. I do have concerns that they again are take a lot. There's a lot of admiration towards Helium by the Demo team and what Helium was able to accomplish as far as a scalability thing as a business, but other than that, they've been okay. They haven't been as censoring as Helium was. I don't know if you remember back to like when we were mods for Helium and Syncrobit, and who else was I modding for? SenseCap. Yeah. Helium, the main Helium server was very authoritative. What's that?
You were a Helium mod?
No, for the Syncrobit and
Syncrobit,
SenseCap. Yeah. But even being like a mod for those outside servers, once that whole thing happened with the owner of Nebra, the Helium mods were always just very, like I said, authoritative. And I don't know. I don't get that same sort of vibe from Demo. Of course, that doesn't mean anything, right? Like we talk about, there's certain puppet masters pulling the strings in the background that sign the checks. But outside of that one experience at Demo, it's an interesting project. It is one of the few kind of unrecognized frontiers right now in crypto. I think we've kind of exhausted the amount of mechanisms that we can use to produce crypto tokens in this world, right? Like, I mean, how many more different things can we think about? Did anybody get their crypto tree that ordered it, by the way? Nobody got the crypto tree?
No. So do you still have the Demo and the Mazda, or you said you?
Yeah, I have Demos in 3 of my vehicles right now, and I have another one sitting here that needs to go back to RMA, and then they'll send me a new one apparently. And sync up the rewards and all that stuff as it should be.
So the device, the car that it wasn't working in, were you ever able to get that work, or it's just
Yeah. So it's back working now. They had to reset something. I'm not sure. Honestly, it happened after a ton of updates on Demo's side as well. So I think they possibly found a little goblin in the code.
Yeah.
But other than that,
the goblin says brick data.
yeah, false.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been okay. I don't know. I'm kind of at the point where I'm done with mining equipment of all types. I'd rather stop buying shovels and just buy the tokens when they launch and are cheap. If I believe in the project, it's just not worth it anymore. It's too much of a hassle.
Especially
and at some point, you got to be concerned about all the e-waste that we're creating, right? Like
no,
we don't care about that
it's
anymore.
always there. It's always there.
It's only bad when I drive my car to the store, right? That
yes,
kind of
buy a Tesla,
but not the fact that 1 million pies just went in the garbage. All right. Interesting.
Another thing on the Helium network is it's just kind of plateaued in terms of network growth. I remember it was like 90,000 in the 30-day trend for months on months end. It's not even proper English, but you get what I'm saying. And now it's really, really slow growth, and a lot of it is because people are no longer buying the hotspots new. They're buying them on the secondary market because they're half off or 75% off. Yep. And there's Helium miners that I've heard people are getting for like $60, $70. So
no, and so you're either forced to either sell at a wash if you're a vendor, right, or sell at a total loss. And I've actually heard in the back channels, look, I don't have much contact with my Helium friends anymore, but I've actually heard in the back channels that some of the vendors have approached Helium about this and been like, look, the initial $10 for antenna assertion and the initial $40 for onboarding is too much now. This needs to be flexible with, the cost of the actual token, because now you're talking about, you're possibly taking away earnings for an entire year for somebody just to get their device on a network, which if there's ever been a hurdle to adaptability and scalability, that's it right there. But they wouldn't budge. They wanted that $50 with each unit. It's very weird. I don't know.
Yeah. I have my Panther X sitting in a box. I listed it on eBay and it went the full cycle, not a single bid, and the starting bid was $100, which is just like mind blowing. I could sell them a year ago for $1,000 plus.
Easily.
Any Helium device.
Pre-orders, Nebra pre-orders on eBay. Batch 1 pre-orders and Batch 2 pre-orders went for 5 to 10 Gs.
Yeah.
That's just insanity. And then those people actually ended up with Nebras in the long run. That's the worst part of it all, right? But I have a couple more hotspots still sitting here that I called in from hosts. I have like a SenseCap M2. I have no idea what to do with that.
I have
that's just
2 of those.
That's what I've been doing. I've been rounding up hotspots. It's not. The returns aren't manageable. Well, they're not enough to go through the ass pains of managing it. And people are wondering, like, what's this actually doing now? To host something that it uses maybe 90 gigs a month. That's they got $100-$200 out of it, whatever. That was a pretty awesome deal for them. Yeah. But if you're a hotspot owner and you bought that, you're not sure if that actually paid off or not.
Yeah, they killed the spread of it, when that happened. But and then you get this infighting going on with a lot of the Helium people like us, where you have the people who have one device, right, and they're like, it's not a pain to manage, and hey, $2 a day sitting on my roof is fine. But you have to realize a lot of us went pretty deep on the Helium dream, right? Like I had dozens of units spread across multiple states, and so now trying to justify, like, I can't even get half my hosts on the phone because they don't even want to be bothered, because they're like, I'm not going on the roof again. I'm not rebooting the hotspot again and calling you back in 10 minutes, and it just it kind of, again, it killed that adaptability of the whole network.
Yeah.
But I see people are tired about us talking about Helium in chat.
Yeah.
Talking about.
If you guys would want to switch up the topics, we have a few others. Of course, we could talk about FTX, Celsius, Terra. The Ethereum merge is one that I'm very interested in.
Did you guys ever pick a winner for the most likely to be featured in a CoffeeZilla video in 2023?
No, we didn't. We didn't make that.
No.
I don't know. Who do you think? You think Helium, maybe?
They already had it.
Yeah, he's already kind of did that with
I
the
mean,
Lyman
they might as well do it one for MXC, because that is. It amazes me that people are willing to pay that $3,000 for it to. It's, I believe, a Ponzi. I think it's outrageous what they're doing, and how they continue to get away with it is beyond me. And the rug is in. I mean, to basically say, well, when this circle in your app fills up, well, you're going to stop mining so much MXC, start mining DHX. But with the money that we made from wherever, who knows where they actually got those proceeds, they're then going to do MXC buybacks. I don't know. It doesn't sit right with me. To see that like over 60% of the MXC in circulation is held by one wallet, which is Kobo Capital.
Yep.
That's like when you start spitting these facts to people, they get very uncomfortable, either because they didn't research it, or they feel that they don't. It's like they like to play ignorant almost. Like I forget what it's called. Ignorance.
Well, Joe, you remember as a military man as well, what are the two ways that our superiors used to always mess with us? They take away our liberty, or they take away some pay. Those were the only ways to hurt a man. And I think one of the worst things that any project can do is change tokenomics on its users while those users are locked in. You know, we're seeing that with the Ethereum, right? The proof of stake move, and now I don't follow Ethereum at all. I have a few that they gave away on the Bitcoin Talk forums when they first launched somewhere in one wallet. But have they even said when those people are going to be able to access those funds or swap them out? Or
yeah, they did. There's the second phase of the merge. I forget what it's called, but it's happening. Yeah, it's happening in January, February, like early 2023. But of course, it could get pushed off, just like the merge did for 6 years. So that's why there's companies like Coinbase who just recently announced that they are allowing users to unstake their Ethereum. It's still staked, but now it will belong to Coinbase. In exchange, they give you like SETH, which is staked ETH, which you can sell 1-to-1 for ETH and get your dollar value back. Basically, Coinbase is just buying it from the user. So there's still no official way to unstake, and who knows if they'll actually get it done in time. Even with the merge being delayed 6 years, I still feel like a lot of people think that it was done too early. I still feel like it was kind of rushed because they still, like, all this money is locked up staking that people staked at $4,000 a token. Now they can kind of unstake it with Coinbase, but it's still, 70% off of what they invested it in. So it's just bad timing. But you could argue that there would never really be good timing with this kind of stuff. It's like
it's bad timing for the users, but it seemed to be impeccable timing for administration, right?
Yeah, because
it always makes you wonder. I know that tickles that silly part of the brain that we're not supposed to listen to, but it always makes you wonder that it was almost a perfect setup as far as the lockdown of the staked Ethereum.
There's no conspiracies, but there are no coincidences.
That is true. Because now all of a sudden you have a massive bag that is basically a whale, so the price won't drop to zero because millions is staked. Most of it is staked in Coinbase. It's the scariest part. Like, on top of being centralized with their nodes, think about the amount of Ethereum that Coinbase owns, because you don't own that crypto. It is just, you just have a little digit next.
Did we lose him?
Fireplace killing his bandwidth.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Did you guys hear what I said? I
said my toes were getting all warm too.
You don't have any of that crypto. It's just a check next to your name, like just a digit. Yeah. So Coinbase owns all of it. Remember that, everybody that has it staked or anything in an exchange. You don't own it. All right.
Not your keys, not your wallet.
Exactly. Look at FTX, for example. And
I mean, unless you're day trading,
yeah,
I wouldn't do it.
People talk about this.
Get your damn crypto off the exchanges. I don't know how many times we have to say it. That's right. Not your keys, not your crypto.
Yep.
Get your fucking crypto off the exchanges. If it's just lying there dormant, You need to put it into a private wallet.
Exodus, Zelcore, Trezor, Ledger, all of those. You can use anything as long as it's not an exchange. Pretty much you only use exchanges to buy and sell, and you hold.
You can even take it one step further too. I actually did a video for my students on this, but you can just boot up Tails Linux with Electrum in it to generate a Bitcoin address offline, and then just completely cold wallet that. Do like the letter punch to the BIP38 or BIP39, and convert that into toss it on those washers in order on an M4 nut somewhere, and you're done. You've got completely. Just keep sending your funds to that wallet. Nobody even knows it exists. It's never been online. No device you've ever touched has been online with that. And, that's about as untraceable as you can get these days. Depending on where you're sending it from, right? That's also a key.
Yep. There's a comment in the chat from Thoth. So, Joe, have you ever ROI'd on MXC? Yes, I ROI'd on it.
And that's about it.
Yeah, I didn't make a whole lot off of it. But that's what you can ask for. I made a video on it that I enjoyed making.
I don't think you guys can ROI on it if you're buying into it now. It's like with every one of these projects, you can ROI, but it's going to take about 5 years. And at that point, is the project even going to be here?
But I find it funny. Like I had a conversation with somebody on Discord today where he's like, "Yeah, I ROI'd already." That's great. So you loaned out your money for 4 months for some company to use, and you just got it back. ROI should be like the bare minimum. That's like the first step in a successful project, right?
Are you referring to MXC?
What's that?
You're referring to MXC?
No, it wasn't. It was a different crypto project that they were talking about. But I find that that's the first thing that people out of their mouth is, "Well, I ROI." Well, great. So you just provided a interest-free loan on your money for 2, 3, 4 months while the market tanked. Good job.
Could you imagine if we didn't cancel our RevoFi orders and we got them now, we still wouldn't even be close to ROIing. I don't think they even have a blockchain. They do have a blockchain, but it's
NKN. It's forked NKN project. Yeah. So it's actually generating tokens, but it's just out of what it's doing is and Big Onion, by the way, if anybody knows him on Discord, did a great job of going through this with his bot and getting this fleshed out. But what it's doing is just basically picking from the list of available nodes on the network that they've allowed, which are, I guess, a couple of them that they've spun up with AWS and supposedly a few units are in a few users' hands. And they just randomly every cycle send all the rewards to one person. There's no proof of ping. There's no proof of network going on. The units don't, they have Wi-Fi 6 built in, but it's kind of hodgepodge. Wi-Fi 6, again, it's cool and all, but it's really short distance. I don't know how the plan was to put them in stadiums. You would need 3,000 of them to cover the average stadium to give enough throughput,
Yeah, and not only that, consider that you don't actually have a controller, whether it be on-site or in the cloud. There's absolutely no compatibility, no mechanism for adjustment and channel plans. That was, and they play on people's ignorance here. And I don't know, it's like when you end up being the one to call them out, like Chris and I did, or all that crap that happened with IO5, which was one of the most pathetic scams I've seen.
Didn't even mention that in our giveaway.
Yeah, we should have mentioned that. But you end up becoming the fall guy. All the chargebacks, those are your fault. All the refunds, those are your fault. The reason the project lost momentum and people lost faith is because of these damn YouTubers, right? Yep. It's not because of their lack of competence in the case of RevoFi, possibly. I mean, I still think it was a scam.
Oh, yeah, man. I mean, clearly they shut down their whole Discord and everybody started believing, not believing, knowing that the project was in shambles from the very beginning. Their Discord or their Twitter just started recycling tweets. I'm talking about RevoFi, by the way. I don't know. Mm-hmm. And it just became a total shit show. It's the only way to put it. They had to shut it down. And then this is exactly how the Crypto Lab was formed, was because Syncrobit. Syncrobit.
We were the unofficial Syncrobit server after. I was a mod for Syncrobit. We come in one day and they just shut all the Discord down, kicked us all out, didn't say anything.
Exact same thing just happened with RevoFi. So there's the unofficial RevoFi server and everyone talks crap about the project as well as a couple announcements here and there and general talk. And the unofficial RevoFi server is going to be another Discord server that is growing because of a failed project.
I saw a guy that replied to one of RevoFi's tweets the other day. He's been waiting 689 days for a device.
Why?
And he was one of the guys. He was one of the guys with a .eth name in his Twitter. So, yeah, one of those bros. But I found that I was like, man, you have a lot of faith in this company.
Why? I don't get it. And
here's the thing, like, again, it's this, nothing about the hardware has changed, and we have in technology this thing called a product life cycle, and things reach this end of life very quickly these days. If it's not software that can be patched, hardware reaches that incredibly quickly. And so now you have, a hack, what is it? Is it a Hack 5 or the SDR module, like a Hack 5 module or something in it, right? And you have a Pi, and you have Jetson Nano, which is getting phased out at the very beginning of 2025, like their end of life, end of support. So we're moving into 2023, and you won't even have 2 years to use a major component that's supposed to bring edge computing and all this cool AI and shared gaming resources and all this mumbo jumbo, and you won't even be able to use it for 2 years or after 2 years.
And you see, Flux is actually able to do that. They have somewhat of a similar idea for the whole edge computing, and I think they're executing the plan as a cord. Now, RevoFi, they didn't have the different lanes of devices where, okay, you don't need a cloud hosted server to actually get that in all cases the computing that you need. If you just wanted to spin up a node, yeah, it's cool to have it hosted on someone's Raspberry Pi. Or if you need a residential IP address for whatever it is you're doing, yeah, definitely. But edge AI, it depends on how you quantify it, okay? But true AI, when you have to crunch numbers, no. When you need speed for that connection to push that data back and forth, and it's not happening. And everything I seen there was very misleading, and I know there were a couple YouTubers that were not happy with myself and Chris over our reviews.
Yeah, well, I've been told before that Chris has the power to destroy a market. So
yeah, we've watched.
That was hilarious. I forget, for all you guys watching now.
What was that guy's name?
I forget. Voidwalk. No, well, that was RevoFi. But for Helium, this guy in a server on Facebook or something, Voidwalking might know his name, but I posted a video talking about Helium, and it was kind of like a FUD video and all this stuff. He said that I single-handedly caused the Helium price to crash, and then he proceeded to post a picture of a graph, and he pointed an arrow at, this is when the video was posted, and then he pointed an arrow, this is the aftermath, and it was like the price went down. But it just so happened that the news that I talked about was like real information, and more people knew what it was. It was hilarious.
Truly an influencer, Chris.
Yeah. And then with RevoFi,
man, I wish I had the power that you have over Helium.
With RevoFi was Rags to Riches, I think it was.
Yeah.
He made a video. It was so funny because he made a video talking about how I was wrong on RevoFi, but his thumbnail was almost identical to my thumbnail. It says RevoFi is like a scam or something. So his video appeared higher than mine, but for anyone looking at it, just looking at the thumbnail, it says like RevoFi is a scam.
Rags to boss.
I just found Rags to boss. Back to Rags for you, bro.
Yeah.
He's still posting.
Yeah.
Now he's off the no, is he off the RevoFi train?
I think so. I think he posted like, is this actually a scam? A couple months after.
Dude, that's one of my favorite parts about doing this is like, you come in hot and you start just, swatting flies and pissing on everyone.
Well, my next video,
they don't take it very kindly.
But
eventually they come back with their tail between their legs saying, you were right. You knew it all along. I wish I would have listened. Nah.
And again, it's not like any of us are really, well, I'll speak for myself. It's not like I'm a savant or anything in being able to predict what's going to happen. It's just, it's not the way good business is done. There's certain key factors, and whether it's a brick and mortar shop or the next crypto endeavor, You have to maintain certain fundamental things, and when you don't see those things going, you can tell this is going down the hole. It's just not going to happen. Rags to Boss, that was his name.
That's funny, Void. That's very funny. Paradigm Miner
I'd have to change it to Boss to Rags.
Elon. Yeah, that's so funny. I mean, I understand where he's coming from because I think I've made a couple videos before opposing someone with more subscribers, views, because it helps my channel grow. So it makes sense. But I mean, man, that whole situation with Justin too, he was just like, that guy did not care. He just didn't seem to care about the project. It was kind of like a joke. And then his son was working for him, and his son was like getting bitched at by people in the Discord server so hard that he had to like change his Discord name and completely remove his name from the Discord. It was hilarious. A lot of memes that came out of that. It was a lot of good, funny moments. But there was a period in time. There was a period in time where a lot of us weren't sure if we were actually going to get our refunds.
I'm just sad I never got my $800 NFT that can be imported directly into any game. Remember that?
Yeah.
There was another thing they said. Are you shitting me?
Yeah, well, they used the $800 thing because I think at the time it was like someone had bid 4 or 5 Solana or something on it, and that's what 4 or 5 Solana at the time was for. So they used that as a justification. Yeah. It's basically you're doubling your money just buying one.
Oh yeah.
People fell for it.
Void mentioned this when Justin came into the comments to argue with me. Yeah. He posted this really
once.
Yeah,
he called Aaron. Didn't he call Aaron and said a bunch of stuff about Aaron's mental health and all that?
Yeah. And then
and Aaron was a guy that we met because we were investigating RevoFi, and I reached out to him on LinkedIn or something, right?
Yeah, we found him on LinkedIn.
Yeah, a bunch of the RevoKind people from back in the day, and I actually found that guy Aaron through a video of Justin trying to peddle for money at a conference in Denver in 2019 for Revoverse. And so I found that guy, and then there was a Facebook post, and we connected, but he ended up being one of our biggest sources of information and proof and evidence, and he probably
these
saved
people have no shame.
hundreds of thousands of dollars by being honest with it.
And Justin was like, if you want to talk, like I told him in the very beginning and the very end of the video, I was like, come on and talk. And he's like, all right, if you want to discuss this, let's go. And I was like, all right, let's do a live stream. And no response. I was like, I want
only paid advertisements for that.
Yes.
Man.
I want you to come on here and answer any of the questions that anybody asks, not any scripted things. This isn't, you're not a president, all right? You get what the people ask.
Well, and I wonder, like, how binding was that contract for probably the thousands that he paid? I know what some of these other influencers charge as far as for content, and yeah, there must have been some binding terms legally for them to not take those videos down after the writing had already been on the wall.
Oh yeah, they're all still up.
I mean, how much more proof do you need? Whether it's a scam or a completely failed project at this point. Look, this is another thing I find to be hilarious. That HIP-19 application that they did was the biggest joke in the world. The biggest joke. It was like they were trying to fail the application process. But had they succeeded, they would have been the only Q2 applicant to HIP-19 to still not have a device out the door a freaking year later. How incompetent can you be?
That's when you start going past the point of incompetence, right? It's all planned in some form or fashion.
They're next to file for bankruptcy. But
that's fine. I mean, if you look at the trail of companies that he's left, and we're talking about Justin Caswell here in case anybody isn't catching up. But if you look at it's Revo, the word Revo, and something else. Revoverse, RevoKind, RevoFi. So I don't know, maybe it'll be Revo Satellite next, RevoSat, or what's the latest thing?
Another pipe dream.
RevoPi.
There you go, Revo. There you go,
Revo. That is a good one.
I did notice. I don't know if you guys.
Coin.
I don't know if it's a mistake or not, but if you actually go to the RevoFi site right now, and I'm not suggesting anybody do this, but I'm going to do this, and go to the shop, the devices are all 4 times the amount they were when they first sold them. I don't know when that change happened, but like the micro is $2,600 now. The Pro is $2,800.
Come on, what?
I'm not joking. Take a look.
Oh my god!
Now, is someone going to take this guy to court for fraud or what? This is outrageous.
So he's been submitted many times by the FBI. I have a buddy who does investigations for the Brevard Sheriff's Office, the Secret Service Office, and deals with crypto stuff. He's looking into it. Yeah, so
dude,
he will get his comeuppance. It's just it takes a while for the wheels to turn.
The best part is it still says Founders Edition, and that's limited quantity.
They're still selling Founders Editions, yet supposedly the first 300 have already received their devices and their
hoodies. Well, they got their hoodies, yeah.
You remember that. You should have denied those deliveries.
How closely did you guys pay attention to the IO5 scam?
That
was I kind of led that charge. I mean, Smoke'em, he was the first one to knock the hinges off the door, but that was the biggest joke of a scam that there was. It was like they didn't even try, but it still worked to an extent. Now, what they would do, they would say it was profit sharing, and literally on their website, they spelled out a Ponzi. Like, money comes into the pool, then it's distributed. What you buy for a device is distributed amongst people, and it wasn't even through a smart contract. It was through a manual entrance through Coinbase. And it's like, oh, well, we're still getting off the ground. We're still getting these devices. So we did reverse image searches on these devices. They were all easy to be found. Same specs. It was like they copied and pasted the specs from the device. They had these outrageous claims like, you know, the DEC 2020 or whatever, which, I mean, make of it what you want. If you're into IoT, it's good for deployments. But look, the devices, they didn't support DECT. They didn't support 1.9 gigahertz. And then they had helium licenses, which was supposedly, if you bought a down converter, which would take the 1.9 gigahertz traffic, or at the Bluetooth 1.9 gigahertz traffic, is the way they described it, and it would be changed to LoRaWAN network traffic, and then it would be compressed first, then streamed over the Helium network to a preferred hotspot, which is stupid in network design because it's a broadcast network. You know, okay, if it's a preferred hotspot, okay, that hotspot gets awards, but it doesn't matter. The point being is that a Helium license did not in any way improve the network, but people would still buy $50 and then they'd get money out of the Ponzi pool for having that license. And when I pointed that out, I mean, he made a mockery of it, like it wasn't a legitimate point. Dude, you laid out a freaking Ponzi scheme, Ponzinomics, on your site, and you're going to come at me like that? What drugs are you on? These people have no shame.
Isn't that similar to what Max from People's Antenna did, though? Just a few months before with HNT, remember that? You have to buy your pre-branded alpha antennas that he could get for $10 or $15 in bulk, and he's selling them for $70. And then you had to buy your miner, your hotspot, at full cost, like $500-600 from him, so that he would have the miner name and can issue out that fake auth token. So, by the way, both the website and the auth token, all that stuff are completely offline now. He's gone.
Really? I did not know that.
Oh yeah, go to peoplesantenna.com right now.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
The People's Antenna.
Apparently, he moved on to selling merch.
Golden child, an example of a fledgling business in our new cutting edge industry.
Who, him?
Once again, cut and run. He was on Twitter Spaces and everything else. But I wanted one point back to what Joe said too. What you said about that project IO5, a lot of scamming projects use that excuse about Coinbase. Oh, Coinbase locked my funds, or Coinbase locked our business account. Here's a little thing you don't know. Coinbase doesn't hold anybody's funds when it comes to that merchant stuff. They take a fee for offering the sales or for offering the page to facilitate the transaction, and that's it. It goes from where you're sending it to where it goes directly. And I know specifically like RevoFi and a couple other people. And there you go, io5.co. I know RevoFi and a couple other people are currently telling their audience, their customers, that's why they can't refund crypto stuff, and it's complete malarkey. So, 619, I never got any off. Yeah, most people didn't either.
Joe, what's hilarious is I'm looking at if I Google search IO5 crypto, you are the very first result that comes up, and then Voscoin, and then some other weird stuff. But
I believe technically by law, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Chris, but I believe technically by law, you have to refer to him as 2021 inaugural Nobel Awards winner Voscoin. Isn't that correct? Because he won the Helium Nobel Award, Content Creator of the Year.
Yeah.
And
that whole title has to be
I wish he would win that again.
But in the other direction, just for crapping all over Helium, and he gets it the other way.
Oh,
that'd be great.
I mean, I don't want to keep talking. I do. But I mean, look, I got blamed for his opinion on HIP 51.
Okay.
I don't know. I got so much crap for that video he made because he featured me in it. People were screaming at me in the Discord the following nights on the voice chat because he made that video, and all I did was express my opinion. And I turned out to be right in many ways. I mean, was that not a PR disaster? Nobody wants a bunch of random shit coins. They don't understand the system. It makes it that much harder to understand.
What are the other tokens? Helium's going to be launching some other tokens aside from mobile, right? It was like a
Wi-Fi,
phase
VPN,
IoT,
CDN. They have a
Did
lot
they
of
name them yet?
wild
Or no?
dreams.
Or they're called like IoT or whatever. Like that's what it's called.
I don't know.
Yeah, IoT, mobile, and VEHNT, right? And those are the three for the state.
Yeah. Well, the VEHNT is what's staked, and that gives you voting power.
Right.
Now, what gets me are these damn staking companies who are going to transfer over their staked HNT, and they're not going to just give it back to the rightful owners. They're going to use it for their voting power, as it seems.
Yeah. Who's doing that? Do you know which ones?
I don't
name them and shame them, man.
Names. No, I'll name them once I get more information. But yeah, I try to confirm sources. But you know that there are some doing it just based on the numbers, looking at the ETL. I've heard some stuff. I got to research it more.
619 brings up a good point too. Sorry, Chris. Now they got to move to maker apps, and I think we called this earlier this year as well. We said as soon as Helium rolled out that framework for their app, that the whole plan was to eventually just give that framework to every manufacturer, let them handle their own maintenance and customer questions and Q&A and all the complaints about the devices themselves, and then Helium is completely hands off and just getting money for approving people for HIP 19 or MOC or whatever it is this day. And look at where we are at the end of 2022. You're now forced to have two separate Helium apps, right? If you have old school Helium hotspot like I do and want to have the wallet on a phone, and then I also have to get a maker app for every single maker.
One of the good things out of that, though, is what Seed is doing in SenseCap, because now they're going to be launching their M4, which we've talked about, and it's going to be also using that app. So they're getting more use out of the app than initially thought, even though they were forced to go down that route. Good stuff.
I think we're going to be seeing a lot from Seed Studio in the crypto realm.
Yeah.
They have.
I can tell you 100% as somebody who's been lucky to be privy to the back rooms of Discord, that they have a lot going on. They have a very large and very smart, very bright team, very hardworking. So if anyone's going to make stuff happen in the IoT, crypto space, sensor, whatever, it's going to be Seed for sure.
Yeah, I'm always putting ideas in their ear.
Seed Studio, like, they sell so much stuff outside of crypto. You guys would be amazed with like, we were looking at making some e-ink display things really briefly, where like would display the price of a coin, and we went on to Seed Studio, and they sell everything. They sell computers, Raspberry Pis, sensor, like anything you can imagine for technology is usually they have in stock, which is awesome. Servers, all the crazy stuff.
Yeah, they're kind of like for those that know this, DigiKey. DigiKey is a very popular North American, right, Canada and US type business to get all that stuff from. Seed kind of handles the rest of the world almost. I mean, there's a couple places in Europe that get really good business, but a lot of that is Seed or Seed distributors. So, is the call-in open still for anybody who wants to join? We're still taking call-in. What's he doing just typing?
I don't know.
His connection, his connection's a little
I don't know
shoddy.
what happened to Lloyd. Lloyd Christmas. He never showed up.
He's never been reliable. I love Lloyd. I just want to give him a reason to come on.
Well, guys, the call-in is open if you guys do want to click. You don't need a video. You just need a mic. Come on here. Talk to us. Tell us what's up. This is the last stream of the year. Until maybe tomorrow there might be another stream. But
until the new year.
I'm going through a similar struggle session that we did in the early days of Helium with Hive Mapper. I like the project, but it's like so many bugs, so many issues with the app, and just trying to ram through some progress so you can get in early on these tokens is a freaking nightmare.
Joe drove 50 kilometers and he earned 0 tokens.
Oh, stop it. The tokens come in three days later.
Oh, okay. That's so weird that it doesn't show you.
I drove a lot more than that today. I'll share my screen with you guys.
So does it reward you based on strictly miles driven or objects it recognizes?
It has
new map you uncover or how much map you cover?
Coherent imaging, and it's like so they operate off of hexes.
Yeah, it's the same Explorer as Helium because Helium is like a big
the Uber H3 hex system. So could you technically go out of one hex back into the other hex and just keep repeating that and get rewarded?
Yeah, but they would diminish over time. You can map the same stuff and get rewarded, and that would provide reinforcement because they're kind of like congregating it into the same imagery. So this is the area. All of this was mapped today and within the previous days.
Joe, I should just say, you should draw inappropriate pictures with your driving.
I should
do feet like we used to do in the Helium days, right? When we gamed all those systems, we do feet over in China.
I never.
Well, Joe was the one that taught us all how to game the network in the early days.
I learned everything I know about gaming Helium from Joe and Soren. That was it.
Soren.
Oh yeah,
remember Soren? Is he still around?
So, Joe,
yeah, he's
I don't know.
doing his own electronic stuff. I don't know if I want to show my dasher or whatever.
You're fine.
Dash cam on here.
With the Hive Mapper,
I have, the crazy baby mom is watching.
With the Hive Mapper, does that have to connect to your phone for cellular data to constantly upload, or is it like? Oh.
Yeah, and let me tell you, with an Android, that's the worst part about it, and they're working through the bugs. I think I'm going to have to use a YouTube channel once again. Get some brown boot polish, and all right, here. I'll find myself here joined. There's crazy amounts of these joining.
Another thing with the earnings, you said it takes a couple days for them to show up in your account. Does it show up as pending currently, or do you not know how much you're going to get?
You don't know how much you're going to get.
Oh, that's totally not good.
Well, and also the 3-day thing, I mean, that's not how crypto's supposed to work. So there's some sort of centralized accounting going on somewhere as well.
That's what I was saying. This guy's getting too much. Let's give him a little bit less.
Yeah.
Thus far, I have 90 kilometers that have been uploaded, mapped in a, I guess you'd say, just coherent fashion. It has to be clear. It has to fit certain criteria. It has to be contiguous or whatever it may be. And look, as we're sitting here, I'm uploading it right now.
Oh, so you can capture the data. You capture the data, and then later on you can upload it.
Yeah.
that seems like that leaves room for people to manipulate it very easily.
Possibly.
Yeah, I mean, they're a man in the middle for data. But
Joe,
so help me on this. What is the value of this then? Is it to get
something like
more
Google
current? Okay, but better than Google Maps, because Google Maps has like fleets of thousands of cars going out with much more advanced equipment, and they plan to hit every major city every month now, and that'll eventually be every week, and then every day they're gonna have cars. So how do you compete with something like that with a 3-day reward?
That is an excellent question. Now, the idea is that you have people who are doing it even more so, more often than what Google Maps can provide. Sorry, I'm trying to get this music situated, but because you have more accurate data, because people are able to iterate over a location more often than Google Maps, and to go places where maybe Google Maps wouldn't otherwise go, in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. Like
how will it work? I mean, it's up for debate.
Well, when you say Google Maps won't go in the middle of nowhere, that triggers me in my mind to think, well, there's some reason Google Maps doesn't go there because nobody gives a crap about what's there. So if nobody gives a crap about what's there, who's going to pay for the data showing what's there if nothing is actually there?
Yeah, good point. So we'll have to see how this market plays out. I mean, when you apply an entirely new business model to a market in demand, I think it gives it a decent chance if it's done in a correct fashion.
I think HiveMapper is following in the same footsteps as Helium, where they were making this device and creating demand on the consumer side, but they don't have anybody that actually cares and wants this data, aside from a few small companies that might do it for research. But like Helium's whole thing was IoT. The whole reason for it was supposed to connect IoT around the globe, around the country, so you can monitor all these sensors as well as reward people and provide this proof of coverage. HiveMapper is mining or capturing all this data, and they're going to be sending it to who? Are they going to be sending it to Google
Whoever
Maps?
wants to purchase it. And yes, that is problematic, and I agree with you on that point.
I hate that answer too. I hate that. I apologize for interrupting again, but I hate that answer. Whoever wants to purchase it. That should not be your answer if you're trying to sell me on your crypto project. Same thing that happened with Planet Watch. You'd ask Claudio, hey Claudio, who are you going to sell this data to, man? Whoever wants to purchase it. All right, well that's great. That worked out well for you, didn't it?
Yeah.
Sorry, Joe. Go ahead, bud.
No, I agree.
And then there's 2 blocks.
Go ahead. Go ahead with 2 blocks.
Well, 2 blocks is the main thing that differentiated it. And I don't know if Joe had the opportunity to talk to them, but I did. But they said that they are actually focusing on finding, or they already have, people in place that want to purchase the data before they start their product, which is kind of the right way to do things versus making a product and counting on maybe people will buy it, which is why Planet Watch failed. Nobody was interested in this type of data. You might think they're interested, like with the weather stuff, all that stuff. Like from our perspective, crypto enthusiasts, like, oh, it's another way to earn, and people will be so interested in it. But it's already provided to us by governments, by local county. Like it's all this data is already available for free. We just pay taxes,
and it's one of the largest federally subsidized programs. And so when you have something like that, getting so much money guaranteed every year, you're never going to break that institution. It's always going to have the more cutting edge equipment, the better locations, the more trusted data, the more repeated data, the more redundant data. It's just, you're not going to win. That was always my biggest criticism against WeatherXM as well. Again, I love that project. I thought the weather vane was really cool. I thought it was neat, but I don't really, I live in Florida. It's either hot or raining. That's the 2 things. So,
or hurricanes.
It's not really of use to me. And either one, I can just look on my phone and it's going to tell me without me having to, actually expend the caloric effort to get up and look out the window. So,
yeah. I say, well, I'm not going to say it, but I ask my Google what the weather's going to be. No effort. I don't have to capture any data. I have to speak That's it. It takes minimal effort.
It's
Almost.
just such low-hanging fruit. Like, if you're concerned about the weather, you can literally just look out the window.
Yeah.
Or, like you said, go on. The availability of the data, like you said, it's just so... We're inundated with the data everywhere you go. You know, the first thing that they talk about on a news broadcast, first thing that comes up on your phone when you turn the, wake up the screen, there's your weather and your time. You know, it's just, I don't know. But they sold a ton of units, so somebody made money. Good for them.
Yeah.
Well, hey, I got the Hive Mapper for free. I'm going to demo it, see how it plays out. Hopefully, being in early on this is going to have a nice payout, or at
It's
least,
just the same as
you need a good win, buddy.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
If this
It
is
sure
the same
would.
as Helium, in terms of being early and winning big,
Look, we're never going to see the perfect storm that Helium had again. That was a
well,
once in a lifetime, maybe a twice in a lifetime deal.
I don't know,
Maybe
man.
next bull run. I don't think we have many more of those runs left.
The thing is, everyone thought, we're never gonna hit it big with Bitcoin again, and then Dogecoin popped off, and then we never thought it was gonna happen, and then we can, if you want to look at mining Helium and Ethereum, like it keeps happening. The trick is which one is it gonna be, and that's the hardest part, and that's why most of the people are now, like back in the day, 2017, there was like 3 cryptos, maybe 4 cryptos that everyone knew about, like Ethereum, Litecoin, and Bitcoin, and a few other ones. Now there's literally thousands, so it's a lot harder to pick the one that's going to succeed. It looks like we have a viewer call in.
I'd also like that Max Voltage said that we're missing the point on Weather XM. I'd like to know. Oh, here he is.
That was a great intro, Steve. Thanks. I appreciate that.
You're welcome, buddy.
I actually wanted to chime in about the Weather XM thing because while the conclusion is exactly the same, you guys are missing the point on it. The whole point of Weather XM is to help improve the quality of forecasts by increasing the amount of data available. The problem is it doesn't do that. It improves the data. I mean, it increases the amount of data available, but because
it's not accurate.
Well, it's not precise.
Right.
It's not precise or accurate for that matter, because they were talking about bringing on various, not just their own, but bringing on various other sensors, other weather, and to try to, I don't know if you've ever looked at Wonderground, Weather Underground. Yes. People who have their own, you can look at people's weather systems and they're like 2 blocks apart and they have wildly different readings. It just can't. I mean, what happens when you get a little bit of dust or something in the wind sensor? The thing that spins around. Well, okay, it's going to spin slower and therefore read a different. It just doesn't work. You have much more reliable information available from high-tech weather sensors that are out there. And so the problem with forecasts is not the amount of information available. The problem with it is that there aren't computer systems fast enough to make the use of the amount of data that's available to have more accurate forecasts. And that will improve. NVIDIA is doing some great work with weather forecasting with their AI work, and being able to take some lower resolution and actually be able to do kind of what they do on their graphics cards and increase the resolution to improve, but they have to learn. Again, that's why it's AI. They have to basically do this over time and figure out what works, what doesn't work, that type of thing, and actually improve forecasts that way.
I'm hearing a Revo Weather XM crossover from Max. Is that what I'm hearing?
Clip that, guys. That's a perfect synopsis.
And
is that the right word? I don't know.
I've had similar thoughts on that. I don't see the value proposition. Well, theoretically I see it, but realistically I don't.
So just so you know, everybody's like, okay, how does he know all this? So my son's a meteorologist and he works for a company that provides the software to the forecasting software to a great number of networks across the country. So we were talking about it. I'm like, hey, it's a really cool idea. Have you looked into this? And he's like, are you serious? I'm like, okay, what am I missing here? And that's when he's like, remember all these things, you know all these things. And I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
So anyway,
it's like applying crypto to a project to come up with a solution, then finding the problems.
exactly. And that's the problem with a lot of crypto projects. It's like they create a solution and then they're like, wait a minute, okay, what does this solve? And then they create a problem. It's like, no, and then hell, government does that. Drives me nuts. It's like, don't create a solution before you even identified the problem. Corporations do it. Lots of companies. A company that I know of is changing their software for the reporting software. And I asked the question in the meeting. I was one of the beta testers. Oh, sorry. A friend of mine was a beta tester for this. And he asked the question, what problem does this solve?
Oh,
they're like, well, you know, it can do all these cool. No, what problem does this solve?
Yeah, this happens.
It was so frustrating. It's like we have a piece of software that does all this. Well, it doesn't do it as well. Okay, fine. Yeah. What problem does it solve?
This is a constant issue in the service industry. It seems the healthcare industry, even auto industry that I'm having to deal with lately with my car. I call any one of them. And they're like, we don't have you in our system. Did you come in before 2018? Oh, we updated our system and lost all our records.
Yeah.
What?
That's a feature, didn't you know? That's a feature.
And it's because it's like every one of these software, they sunset and they just come out with a new one versus trying to improve upon the old one, or the old one is missing like one or two features that are quite literally vital to the operation of a company. I don't know why they don't add them in the future, but they cash in, sell out, a new company comes in, constant cycle.
Yep.
This is something Steve wanted to display here, so I'll share my screen.
It talks perfectly. It goes back to what problem does it solve? Look at where we're going now with helium.
Oh, cool. Bathroom occupancy sensor. I've always wanted to know that. I usually
pair up with your bathroom odor detector, also known as a nose.
Yeah. You know, if I want to know if someone's in the bathroom, I see if the door's closed and the light is on underneath the door. That's all I need to know.
Well, and a lot of them just have, like, if you go in and lock it, like it shows on the outside, occupied,
yeah,
right? Like,
yeah,
we see that everywhere. So,
you know,
yeah, again, creating problems for your solution.
I still make fun of Planet Watch. I say, do they really need to know when you cook a meal or pass gas in your home?
What is the IoT display for? So you can see when someone's in the bathroom.
So you can display all the data that all your other IoT devices are showing. Yeah.
Oh, that's really incredible information.
It's also known as a monitor, Chris, or a TV.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it'll be marked
up. Here's the thing. I guarantee there's other solutions out there that are really, really simple. A bathroom occupancy sensor. You have a light sensor in the bathroom. What's to stop you from having a similar sensor setting off something, exactly what you said, setting up a display on the outside?
Smoke detectors already sense smell.
Yeah. But how
they sense
how much of a problem is that for most people, right?
You know
I mean? Is this stall I'm about to walk into actually occupied or not? Sure wish I had a sensor to tell me.
What is it?
It's never been an issue.
What does it matter too if there's a thing that's like a device that smells? If I go into a stall and it's the only stall and it smells, it reeks of shit pretty much. I'm still gonna have to use that stall. It's the only one open.
But Chris, you could have looked on your helium map ahead of time, and you would have known that stall 17 reeks of shit.
Yeah,
that's true. Is there a bathroom open, and does it stink?
And that someone threw up all over the wall. I hate when that happens. It's like you just gotta imagine those sensors at like college bars. It's just like completely useless. No matter what stall.
They'll throw up right on the sensor.
No matter what stall you go in, they're all going to smell the same and look the same. There's going to be, the guys' bathrooms, everyone knows this. There's urine all over the place because drunk people can't aim. Anyway.
Have you seen women's bathrooms?
No, I haven't.
The good old days.
It's my constitutional right to use a women's washroom, okay? Just kidding.
What if you need to book that bathroom right now because Turtlehead is coming out? I don't know what that is.
So we got Max here. I think we should take advantage of it. We never answered the question earlier. We were going to do the impromptu, most likely to be featured in a CoffeeZilla video in 2023 award. And I'd like to hear Max's thoughts on that.
You know, I heard that award. I kind of got involved in some other things, so I kind of lost track of that conversation. But wow, who would be most likely to be in CoffeeZilla? I mean, I'm surprised.
It hasn't even launched yet, but you never know.
I mean, I was surprised at some of the people that were in it this year. I mean, obviously, you know, Sam Bankman-Fried fraud. You know, was obviously that was most likely, and he was. And but Logan Paul, I thought was an interesting one. I didn't realize. Recently caught up on all of that. Wasn't up on that when it was happening. Never been involved in NFTs or been interested in them. So
no.
But like I said, I was fascinated by all the coverage he had on that. That was pretty interesting. Who would we?
I'm looking at the top list right now.
Honestly, Vitalik would be really interesting.
That would be my pick too.
That would,
because
he's now trying to influence other projects to go the same direction he's going. And why do you think that is? Because he's under scrutiny of FCC. So maybe if I get all these people to go the same direction I'm going,
Hive mind. You make it the cool thing to do.
Yep. And therefore, all of a sudden, what is he going to do? Is he going to come get us all?
There's people that base their entire lives and their YouTube channels around mining. You know, what are we going to do when they get rid of this stuff?
I haven't quite figured that out yet. I am still mining.
Create new projects.
But that's like a serious issue. I mean, look at the GPU and the ASIC YouTubers that have made content all this time, especially revolving around Ethereum. That's how Voskcoin started out.
They're going to pivot
can't
to
even
other
do
stuff. They got Web3. They can talk about.
I know.
Well,
tip-ins.
I mean, first of all,
but
last time I checked, there is not anything in like our Bill of Rights or you know that we have a constitutional right to mine. So it's something that exists. It exists for very good reason, and it supplies it better, in my opinion, validation of a blockchain better than anything else. It's that simple. It's not because we have the right to mine. It's because there isn't a better solution at this point. Proof of stake is not as good, and we've seen with Ethereum the problems that it has brought in. You know, with the censorship. Yes, there was a little bit of an issue with censorship before they went proof of stake, but proof of stake exacerbated the problem because you have all of a sudden all these stakeholders and node holders that have to abide by the law, and now you have Ethereum devs talking about that they want a social slash. I mean, but yet these people have no way to withdraw their money, so they're stuck between a rock and a hard place. Do I break the law, or do I not break the law but have my Ethereum taken away? That's a horrible place to be. If we were still on proof of work, we would not be there.
Yeah, that's true.
I like that comment. Will the Fed start treating miners as rum runners during Prohibition?
I hope not.
God, I was channeling my inner hawk with that one, with my rant.
It was good.
Oh, thanks.
We all have to do it sometimes.
Fireworks outside right now. I thought it was gunshots, but it's the same thing. Controlled
That's
gunshots.
the game we play in Chicago during the 4th of July. Was that a gunshot or a firework?
Yep.
I was just looking at like the list of the top 100, and there's quite a few that I think would make a CoffeeZilla video, like XRP, because they've been facing scrutiny and stuff since the SEC's, and that started in like 2020, I think, or very early 2020. Maybe
before that, I think, didn't it?
Yeah, it's just
2018, 2019, maybe.
And they're still ranked number 6th, which blows my mind. How are people buying this coin? Because it's taken off of most exchanges. You can only buy it in a few places.
I see it as, once again, another. I mean, it's one entity replacing another.
Yep.
That is centralized. That is. Look, do I hope they win the case? Yes, because I guess they're technically crypto, but it's still going to be a centralized exchange of different currencies.
That's fine. They're not pretending to be anything else. So, I don't have an issue with a centralized organization using crypto. They don't have to all be decentralized. It's the ones that claim they're decentralized that aren't is the issue.
I understand that, but it goes back to the whole powers that be, globalist types that run systems like SWIFT and the Federal Reserve, etc. I mean, they're going to have to play ball in that arena, and it seems that XRP is willing to do that. And we have too many people who believe in XRP based on their mission and don't understand, like, the whole decentralization, autonomous ownership aspect of cryptocurrency, blockchain in general. Would you guys agree? I mean, I'm open to opinions on this because I can't say I'm 100% decided. This is just what I've come to believe from my research on XRP, which I don't think it's a good technology, but it's not something that I necessarily care to introduce to the system. I want the system to be, look, what do they say? You'd rather, pick the average person rather than a politician to run the system. I mean, I feel much the same way.
So I have a couple other thoughts on who could possibly be in a CoffeeZilla video. What about CZ?
I was actually going to bring that up next because
the chairman.
He's I mean, you can kind of compare it almost identical to FTX so FTX was pushing for regulation and they turned out to be a scam. FTX went down and now Binance is pushing for a little bit of regulation and they announced their proof of reserve and they're trying to be very transparent. So it could go the same exact route. I really hope it doesn't.
I hope it doesn't either.
Well, that would be a
like
big
I
hit
said,
to the market.
Yeah.
I think what CZ did was ended up doing all of us a favor by bringing what was going on at FTX to the forefront earlier rather than later. But his motivations is my problem with it. His motivation was to crush a competitor.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing more, nothing less. He crushed him, and then he wanted to buy him, and then he went, "Oh shit!
Well,
no, I don't want to buy him."
They invested into FTX in the very beginning. A lot of people don't know that, and they were there to help support them. And then when FTX became on the same level, maybe even a little bit higher, that's when they were like, "Okay, let's try and buy them." And then Sam Bankman-Fried was like, "Oh, we were trying to buy Binance," and all. It's just like it gets all confused in everything that's been going on.
Yeah.
It's been a wild ride.
Yeah.
This entire year. This was still the same year as Wonderland and Time and all those other things that crashed too, right? And
I think that was
wrong.
I think that might have been the very end of 2021. Yeah. It's been a long year. Almost 365 days, guys. It's crazy.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Never happened.
Another thing with XRP, you can bring up Mac's questions and Steve's questions. What does it solve? Because if the whole idea was that it's supposed to be between banks and allow easier transfer across waters between banks, all this stuff, I just Zelled money to my father, and it was boom, instant. You can say it was quicker than some crypto. It was clearly quicker than Bitcoin, and there was no fees. So, there's already some solutions that are starting to come up that are better than these cryptocurrencies.
But now that's not across countries, though, is it?
I don't know if I can send it across countries. That's
you probably could, but my question is would there be fees?
That's true. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anytime you're exchanging a currency, that's where I think the real value of crypto is when it comes to exchanging value.
Yeah.
If you look at SWIFT, I mean, the system is so archaic. XRP definitely solves the problem, but they're not pretending to be anything but a centralized organization. So we've got to accept that that's the fact, and whether you want to be part of that or not.
I mean, maybe they're trying to claim to be like the internet token because each country has their own currency. XRP is going to be the currency of the web, and you'll be able to send it across. And that would be something that I think they would get backing for versus trying to just market towards towards banks and stuff, because it could be useful. It could be very useful.
Possibly. I mean, the banking system, they have enough power and money to make their own variable of cryptocurrency, which is the centralized CBDC, so centralized bank digital currency.
We've been there ever since we got taken off the gold standard in what, 77, something like that. So yeah, everything. That's what people don't understand. You put your money in that bank. Your money's not sitting in that bank. It's just it's just an entry in a database somewhere, and it has been for decades. What we're trying to do here is just make that stronger, more scalable, and give a little bit of power back to the people. I'm old as shit, but crypto is not going away soon.
Oh, really? Patrick said Zelle is not faster. It's the same slow ass 30 days to final settlement. It is no technical or use advancement over the existing structure. Well, thanks for correcting me. This is like the second time I've ever used Zelle. I thought it was pretty neat.
So I use Zelle all the time. I have buddies overseas I send to, but I think the key is that we're both members of the same credit union.
Oh, so well, yeah, you send it to them overseas, but it's still in the same currency.
Right, same currency, same credit union, same bank, same type thing. So I think there's probably some flexibility there, but
and a lot of it also rides off of I think Visa's system, because I noticed if I try, so I have Zelle set up on, I have 2 bank accounts. One was with the credit union from when I was in the military, and when I transfer money in and out of that account, it doesn't have a debit card link to it, so it takes days rather than seconds, as opposed to my bank account, which has that debit card link to it. So how they settle transactions is based on their ability to interact with the system.
What were you gonna say, Jules?
I was saying what you're saying is 100% correct, though. The dollar is digital. It has been for donkey's years now. The dollar doesn't exist. It's there's no physical item backing it. It's just you put it in the bank lends it out 6 times or 600 times or whatever they feel like lending it out.
Well, and the problem becomes this too, when you try to take a national currency and convert it to a cryptocurrency. So a national currency has this great benefit to being a national currency in that you can always fight inflation. The government can always fight their effects of inflation that they feel, right? Because the dollar eventually gets devalued and you buy less, your dollar goes less. But they can always fight it by printing more of it. In crypto, with a finite rewards pool and everything out in plain view, you can't just say here's another trillion tokens or here's 100 billion tokens going to Ukraine that we just pulled out. It just won't work like that. There will be too much of a call for accountability, and so I think that's what the holdup is right now. The technology's been in place for years. I think the holdup is how do we still maintain our off the books type events that we want to keep going and pushing forward, and B, how do we market this to people to actually get them interested in using it versus whatever else it may be that we're using. So
you're kind of talking about the whole basis of what gives crypto value. It's like, okay, what gives the dollar value? Oh, the dollar just has value because it's the dollar. No, it's because somebody else thinks it has a certain value that you can exchange that dollar for, and there's a recognition of that. If there's a recognition of anything of value that you want to exchange for something else of value, it's a currency. So if Bitcoin has a recognized value to someone else or any other crypto, it has value, period.
And that's why the Bitcoin Pizza Day was such a big event, right? Honestly, that's people think it's funny. They make fun of Laszlo for spending 10,000 Bitcoins on that pizza, but without that transaction, we wouldn't be where we are today. We wouldn't. We just wouldn't be. So
yeah, someone could have bought like ice cream instead, and that would have messed everything up.
He posted. I remember when it happened though. He posted on Bitcoin Talk and just said, "Hey, I think it was 2 Papa John's pizzas or something." I'm sure it's on the website, but
yeah.
Without that transaction though, because we were actually exchanging Bitcoin before that, like over Bitcoin -OTC on IRC. I think I've talked about this before, and also on the Bitcoin Talk forums that originally when they came out, and it wasn't really till that happened and that became news that somebody just traded digital tokens, this new Bitcoin thing for real world stuff, that it actually started taking off, and we started seeing prices in like $1 to $2 to $3 range, which was unfathomable at the time. If we only knew.
Well, gents, we're going for 2 hours and 12 minutes.
Not bad.
Yeah.
What are the comments like?
They're good. They're slowing down.
in.
No, they came in hot earlier, but we cooled off during the helium discussion. I'm starting to pick up a following that just doesn't care for helium. So, but the live streams, they're not helium people, but the viewers, they are. So I'm gonna have to cater accordingly. And
I think
I do have another interesting helium video coming out here within the next few days, but
it's a really good year.
What's that?
It's a really good year overall.
I think I'm going to title it "Why Helium Mooned You in 2021." Good clickbait. We're going to talk about price. I laid out some of the factors earlier, but I want to do it much more.
So you're saying we should sell now? Is that what you're telling us?
That's what I heard.
Financial advice.
Financial advice.
You
I'm
want?
trying to bait them to that.
Well, it's been a good year for sure for all of our channels.
It's been a good year for making friends.
Yeah.
And shared misery.
Making friends and strengthening friendships between people that we met briefly in 2021. So, and all the new people that are joining us tonight. Some of you guys I've never seen before because you might be used to watching Joe's streams, and I might not have seen you. But New England Crypto, Patrick, Void. I see Void everywhere. Jules, it was nice to meet you as well. I got to watch the whole live stream on Joe's channel, basically exposing Australia being shafted by helium. It's the only way to put it.
Jules, I was listening, and Joe will back me up on this. I was listening and watching that, and I was like, "Oh, I like these guys, Leo and Jules."
You were giving it to them in the comments. They were probably watching the comments and beside themselves at what they were reading because you were scorching them.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
And no answer too. Again, here's the thing. I'm not opening up the helium well again, I swear. But here's the thing we talked about: a problem that they refuse to face, and thus there's no resolution. And how long ago was that chat? A couple weeks ago now already. And is New Zealand and Australia faring any better for us? See, it just doesn't make sense why they operate that way.
To be fair, I don't want to open it up either, but when they had their network downtime, it was like a week or 2 weeks where they literally had to halt the blockchain because I think one of the blocks was like too large or something. It was just it was off. It took them 2 weeks to solve that issue. So, and that was for the entire Helium network. So it doesn't surprise me that it's been a couple weeks and they haven't done anything.
Well, and the reason they had to take a couple weeks there goes back to they relied too much on the validators. They couldn't get the user-owned validators to update to the version they needed that would auto-update to pass this block through and just the new, what did they call their, what was the name of they had for their chain halt, the latest block that the release would be up to? It doesn't matter, but you know what I'm talking about. So they would what they do is just update the software to pass that block, and they're just like, okay, we'll just worry about this later, and then they never worried about it later.
Yeah, crazy stuff.
Yes, Crank.io is real, New England Crypto.
Do you guys want to talk about your plans for 2023? Steve, are you going to launch the infamous YouTube channel finally?
Finally. Yeah, no, everything's going good with the total seminar stuff and those videos. So I think I'm up to like 20 videos lined up. I've been spending the last 2 months just learning Premiere Pro. We get it at the college I teach at. We get it as one of like our little bonus gifts. We get access to the Adobe Suite. So I've been spending some time learning that because I'm sure as you guys have noticed, it's incredibly hard to find a decent, reliable editor that doesn't cost you thousands when you're just getting started. I don't know. So I just figured I'd learn it myself because it would cut down on the amount of back and forth. I'd have to say, no, do this, no, do that,
Are you going?
Yes, that definitely starting this month. So
are you using your Steve is IT YouTube channel?
Yeah.
Okay. Joe, do I have permission to post it
Go
on
ahead.
both of our accounts?
Yeah.
You guys can check Steve out. Jules, do you have a YouTube channel?
Not yet. No.
And Max Voltage, do you have a YouTube?
I do. I know. I don't really put up much content. I have my stream on Monday nights.
Mondays. Yep.
Although this last week was Wednesday. Took a little vacation.
I know we
Nice.
took over. Don't worry, we took over on Monday for
I know
you.
you guys represented well.
That was fun. That was really fun.
Other than the comment about my hair that I'm still like hurting.
You don't
Joe.
call that a comb over?
Not a comb over. It has to like have some bald spots. There's no bald spots.
Okay, fine. Maybe
part.
I am conflating the terms. Okay, I thought it's just when you.
Well, with toupees, they look really full. So.
Sorry, Max. I didn't.
Those are
mean to
definitely
say that you're
staple.
bald,
Those are
okay?
staple. Trust me.
I have had no surgery. I just have lucky to have the father I have who had really had hair like this until he turned about 70. Or my wife just said that it was hair like my mom. Actually, she had really thick hair too. So I think it's a combo. But anyway, bottom line.
I'm blessed with that as well, Max. In my
Yes,
40s,
you
and I
are.
still have a thick head of hair as well. So
Yep.
some of us are just. Oh, hey, Jules. Sorry, didn't see it there. Buddy. I just see Jules just shaking his head like these sons of bitches.
Anyway, but yes, I have my live stream on Monday. I'm still kind of waiting for the job situation to kind of calm down, actually get where we're fully staffed. Every time we think we're about ready to get there, something happens. But right now, it looks like we're on a good track to get there. So when I can get back to I don't know, something less than 60-hour weeks, I'll actually start putting out content. I did a 15 and a half hour day today. I reported to work at 3 a.m.
You get overtime, or are you salaried?
Oh, I'm salaried.
Oh,
What do you do, Max? If you don't mind me asking.
I'm in logistics.
Okay.
So end of the year,
Yeah, makes
logistics,
sense.
everybody wants to make their numbers. We have to ship stuff in order for them to make their
Yeah,
numbers.
just smudge
We
some
have-
numbers.
We have 12 customers at our facility. Every single one of them wanted stuff to go out today.
Mm.
Wow.
So yeah, it was fun. So yeah, we decided normally we do not do 3 a.m. We're not usually a 24-hour facility, but for the last 2 days, we've become a 24-hour facility and extending the shifts to 12 hours instead of 8 to 10.
That sucks.
Yeah, but you do what you got to do, and
Yeah.
I mean the good thing is that we got a lot done. People pulled together, and really, where we were at the end of my shift was I was so surprised. I thought there's no way we're gonna get to where we need to be, and I wish we were a little further along. But realistically, where we were was phenomenal. Actually. So anyway, it's been good. People, you push some people, you bring guys together, saying this is what we got to do, and I can't thank the team enough. I mean, they just did a great job.
nice.
Plans for 2023? 10,000 subscribers?
Wow, that would be quite the stretch. I don't know.
You can do it, Max.
Here's the thing. The real thing is that would be a great goal. That is a tough thing, especially in the market we're in. I have to focus on what does it take to build subscribers, and that's content. Literally, it's just content. I need to set some goals as far as how much content I can start putting out when the time comes. I'm hoping by beginning of February, and I'm going to start just like I did with my live stream a year ago. I said I'm going to do this every Monday, and I'm going to commit to it. I'm going to do it every single Monday, and I did that. Now I have to get to the point where I've got that. Now, what else can I commit my time to?
Yeah.
I'll do one day, probably Thursday morning release of something every single week. That'll be a start. And as I learn and get more efficient in the editing process and idea, the whole process of coming up with ideas and stuff that somebody like Red Panda is super good at because he does it every single day.
Yeah.
It's like
He's
second
built
nature to
into
him.
his routine. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
got it down.
Yep. So anyway, so right now that's the plan, is to get to at least once a week. I'd like to eventually by maybe mid-year get to the point where I'm at 3 times a week with content.
That's awesome. Yeah, I got burnt out with the 3 times a week stuff. I tried to do it last summer. I tried to do 3 videos a week, and I got to the point where I was having a difficult time coming up with content, and I just straight up started reading like news articles, and like it wasn't doing that well. I saw that Son of a Tech does his morning live show. I don't know if he's still doing them, but he just takes clips from that, and those are his videos. So that's another option. I was thinking about doing something like that too.
Yeah, we lay down some good content on here, so
Yeah, because
that's
you're
something
getting
to pull from.
the live stream viewers, and then on top of that, you're getting the people that miss the live streams. So they'll be able to see the good parts of the stream.
Yeah, there's a guy, Michael Fierson, does a lot of YouTube, like how do you do better at YouTube type of content, features, things like that. And one of the things he does talk about is like, if you are a live streamer, a good way to build your subscribers is to make content out of your live streams. And I've talked about doing that a lot of times. And sometimes like my Monday night streams, it's like, okay, I've got very specific things I'm going to talk about. That is very easy. Okay, yeah, I should be able to turn this into a live stream. A content piece. But again, it's about getting that completed.
Yeah.
So I may start out like that, or maybe I'll do a piece of content and one of those a week. So I don't know. I'm still kind of figuring that out.
Yeah, and with StreamYard, you can just can you just like take a clip out and then download it?
Yeah, there's a feature to download the entirety of the stream.
Okay, that's awesome. But can you?
I think that's what I did with one of our streams, because at the end we were using copyright song, and I deleted it off my YouTube, but downloaded it and took the cut of that stream and
Yeah, the editing, like when you need to like edit beginning, end, or anything in the middle of with the YouTube tools. Oh my god, those are
awful.
horrible.
That should just be removed.
I paid for Wondershare, and I think Wondershare has been probably the smoothest tool to use. It's pretty intuitive when it comes to learning. Does it have all the features that you'd want for the most flashy video? No, but I don't need those. You know, that's not my content style. You could learn how to do it, sure, but it's not, I don't think, in my opinion, in my experience of using it, it's not going to get you all the way there if you wanted to make that crazy type of content that someone like maybe Boss would, you know?
I use Premiere Pro, but I used 619's the Windows Movie Maker. I literally used to use that. I'm sure there's plenty of people that did use it. Yeah. And then I switched to Sony Vegas. No, well, I use Camtasia. That's a throwback. Camtasia in like the early 2010s, and that sucked. It would crash mid-record, and it would, at least it would save the data. I've been using OBS right now to record, and the video I recorded yesterday, it took me like an hour and a half to record because it kept crashing. I had to pretty much abandon OBS and start using Streamlabs OBS, which is the same thing, just different skin. That works, no issue.
Really? That's
complicated.
weird.
Isn't that one a scam? Yeah. Isn't that one have a backdoor in it? I heard something about that. Possibly.
Well, it worked well for me. I'm only using it to Oh, I know what you're saying. Okay. I'm only using it to record. I'm not connected to the internet.
I'll look it up for you.
I've had Streamlabs since like 2016, 2017. So I
used to use Streamlabs. I went back to OBS because I just didn't really like what Streamlabs stood for. Won't get into that whole discussion, but
I'm not a big fan of the interface. I like OBS better, but for some reason I'm gonna keep having this issue when I'm recording, and I'm trying to find it online, and all these issues are from like 2020, like it's old stuff, and this is the latest version. I'll be recording, and then like 3 seconds in or 3 minutes and 22 seconds in, my screen will just freeze. And then if I try to pause or stop the recording, I can't stop it. Then I have to force close it with Task Manager, and I lose the footage. It sucks.
So I actually use regular OBS, and then I use Adobe Premiere Rush Okay. I have access to Premiere, regular Premiere, but a Premiere Pro, but I actually like the Rush features a little bit better. They are not as feature full, but there's a couple of things that it does. Like when you cut a piece out, it automatically joins them together. As opposed to
that's
you
real
gotta
nice.
drag it. Yeah, so that's a pretty nice feature. Now, there might be a setting in Premiere Pro, I don't know, but Rush opens up like that.
Yeah, it's like the Lightroom
so many
version. Like Lightroom is the slimmed down, more automated version of Photoshop. If you ever use that, Lightroom. So now
I was wondering what Lightroom actually was, because I was kind of like, we have Photoshop. What the hell do you need Lightroom for? I didn't realize.
Same thing. It's Premiere Rush. Yeah,
got it. Cool.
I've made so many videos with 20-minute black screens and then like one clip at the very end because it doesn't join up. So that's a great feature. I gotta see if that's an option to automatically do
Yeah, you
that.
should have access to it. Do you have the student? Because you have the student discount for the Adobe suite.
I think I get it all for free for part of being the school, but that'll expire soon. Let me see if I have Premiere Rush.
Hey, I don't know if you're in a school where you can keep your.
Oh, I do have Rush. I already have it installed.
I don't know if you can keep your .edu email address, but
I still have it at my previous school, but that's because I'm technically still enrolled. It's a little weird. Anyway,
if you're able to keep that, then maybe other student discounts you can still take advantage.
Well,
because that's where they validate it is by an edu email address.
I already modified my host file on my computer so Adobe doesn't connect to the internet to download updates. So I don't have to worry about. Have to worry about any activation problems with Adobe. So thank you, old school, for giving me Adobe.
All right, you guys ready to call it a night?
Well, Joe, what are your plans for 2023?
Yeah.
Keep cranking the content. I'm going to try to hit the 10K subs. I'm stepping up
halfway there.
The game here. I've been this last year has kind of floundered, really. I went hard in April and put out a lot of content. I think I picked up almost 1,000 subs in that month alone, and that was my best earning month. I made about $400, but since then, it's I haven't produced content as steadily, but it's a matter of diversifying. Getting outside of the bubble, which I've been working on pretty hard here, and rebranding. I'm probably going to end up on some other social media as well. I mean,
Truth Social.
I was thinking the same thing.
No,
I thought he was going to say Grinder Local.
You guys are jagoffs.
He uses Craigslist for that.
I'm gonna go even more bottom of the barrel on a TikTok, maybe.
TikTok is real good. I mean, that's just YouTube Shorts. You can make the same content and post on both.
Twitter, I've been, I write GM to everyone on there to pick up some followers. That's how you do it. Just go around writing bullshit. Be nice to people, and they follow you.
Joe, you could do shorts like, I don't know if you ever see on YouTube, there's a guy that tries like different types of foods or something, and he goes, is it bussin' or disgusting? You ever seen that guy?
Something like that. But look
He's
who we have joining us.
So you could do like, is it mining or is it diving? And you can
Welcome
just
to the
real
stream,
quick 1
sir.
minute reviews of crypto. What's up, Boyd? I almost called you your real name. Sorry about that. I don't think he can hear us.
All right, good talk.
Is it working?
Oh, it is. It is.
You can hear you.
Not a big deal. Yeah, it's not. It's not working on my end. I can kind of hear.
Click the settings if you can hear us. You probably have to change the output.
It might help if you move your hair from the left side over to the right. Just free up.
And he's gone. Way to go,
nice.
Steve.
Nice job, Steve. Nice job.
Anyone else want to share their New Year's resolutions?
Yeah, it's pretty much the same as you. My content has just been so spaced out and it's not on a schedule or anything. It's just because of school, and I finished and we've been live streaming, and then the semester's starting back up in like 2 weeks, so I have so much free time, and I think I need to organize it better. I've noticed this break I haven't played like video games at all versus the semester.
What does the matter with you?
Well, I've been making all this YouTube stuff, and it's like it's either I can play video games or make the YouTube content, because both of them is kind of like a stress reliever for me. It's just something to relax with. And I think I'm gonna start leaning more towards this side of things, because this side of things can get me places in life.
Well, one you're creating, one you're consuming,
and I can also live stream me playing video games to get the best of both worlds.
You need to do it.
Maybe.
I have to admit, one of the things that I have been suggested, encouraged, is to create a mid 50s gaming Twitch channel.
That'd be interesting.
Yes,
and we can all live in a house together called Middle-Aged Gaming House.
All of the 1940s slang and curse words are going to be used.
Oh, geez, we're not that old.
No, I'm not that old, obviously.
I'm sorry, 1950s. You said you were born in the 50s?
Chris, can you do that?
Man.
You almost got me triggered there. Almost. Because then I'm like, no. He's not serious.
Oh. No, I'm not serious.
Well, Max, for a 70-year-old man, you've got a great comb over, buddy.
Okay, thanks.
All right, everyone. I'm the only one watching. No. We have 2 streams running right now, so we have a combined total of 15 watching. However, no, it's on. A lot of them are on my stream, so
yeah. I got 2 people on my
the best of both worlds. But look, this stream has been going on for 2 hours and 30 minutes, much longer than we usually do. We'd love to stick around and talk more, but we're guys
we're gonna
save it for
New Year's
Day, right? So 7 p.m. here on the Network Bits channel.
Yes,
we'll be doing a New Year's Day celebration. We're going to talk about what's to come for the new year.
If you guys want to talk to us outside of this, do you want to say something, Max?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, and Misfit Mining will be, for the whole 15 people that are watching. There will be Misfit Mining will be on Saturday night, and I think we're going to be going long all the way to the new year.
It'll be fun.
Don't know exactly when we're going to start. If it might mean we're going to start a little bit later, we're still kind of in discussions.
It's Joe's birthday tomorrow, right?
Yeah,
his birthday.
My birthday tomorrow.
Joe's.
Oh,
he's turning 43.
So you're the accounting guy's birthday, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's like everybody's dream to get like a kid on December 31st. No expenses, the whole deduction.
I don't know. I don't know how.
And a child that was due in like the very beginning of January, we were hoping, but no, child was a week late. 8 days late. Was born January 10th instead of January 2nd. Open. I was like, God, December 31st. Come on.
Should have had her induced.
Nah, we're not going to do that. Well, and she ended up being induced anyway, but that's a whole nother story.
All right.
If you guys want to talk to us, feel free to join the Discord server. I believe it might be in the description, but if not, just click on any one of our videos, and the Discord server is there. You can also follow us on Twitter and subscribe to our YouTube channels.
Yes. Go ahead. Sorry.
They were posted a little bit earlier for Max Voltage and Steve. Steve is up and coming. Give him all the support he can get.
You can check out my courses with Mike Myers on Udemy. So we just finished the A+ video certification training for CompTIA. So take a look at it.
And I think that's it for me. I'm done talking, Joe. So take it away.
So Misfit Miners, I believe that's on Chump Change XD's channel. He's in the chat right now. If you'd like to say hi. That is tomorrow night. I don't know what time. Chump, if you like to post it. Catch my stream, 7 p.m. Central Time, January 1st. And that's a Sunday. So the following day, Max Voltage will be streaming once again on Mondays at 8 p.m. Central Time.
Central Time. Cool Standard Time.
I believe that is all we have. So thanks for joining us, Chris, Jules, Max, Steve.
Joe, I'll see you in the new year, Joe.
Of course. See you later.
See ya.
Everyone have a good night and a happy new year.